All right. You guys afraid?
Oh man, this is really loud. You guys afraid of spiders? Anybody?
Nope.
As long as they're not poisonous, not really.
No, seriously. Mark, are you a fear of spiders?
Not at all.
Pete?
Not at all.
Not of spiders, just guys that are checking out their putts in that spider stance.
Yeah, or spider putters, the
spidey-
spider putters.
Spider stance? All right, because I was reading something about black widow spiders.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're deadly.
No, they're not.
Oh.
They're not really deadly at all. So here's the funniest part, okay? If you get bit by a black widow spider, you're not going to die.
Okay.
Okay? Unless you are literally allergic to that.
Okay.
Or very, very sick. You get some light muscle cramps or light muscle pain. You can get some cramps. And you might get some paralysis of your diaphragm if you get bit by it. That's it.
Sounds like the menstrual cycle.
What?
Almost. Except there's a spider involved.
So you know what? I think that's where that black widow spider came from because it was exactly like a menstrual cycle.
Now,
What
about
was
the
in that guy's boot that we talked about?
What about the brown recluse?
I don't know.
That'll mess you up.
But I don't think a brown recluse can kill a human. I don't think any of these things kill humans.
Those are bad, though.
Yeah, they are. So I was looking at it because it said there's one state in all of America that doesn't have black widow spiders. So I'm going to give you guys one guess each.
That does
not. Only one state that does not have black widow spiders. I'm going to give everybody one guess because I don't want to do it the way Jack does it, where I make 2 or 3 guesses of something that I really don't give a shit about, and he goes, nope. And he doesn't say the answer. He just waits for me to say more. I'm like, I give up. He goes, really? Well, yeah, I don't fucking care. I don't give a shit. So take one state, doesn't have black widow spiders. Think about it because it makes sense.
Montana.
Stupid guess. How does he even participate?
I'm sorry,
in
North
this?
Dakota. North Dakota.
That's
I went
two.
to-
That's stupid.
Oh,
Well,
That's
here you
two
go.
times.
Here you go.
So he used up one of your guesses. So you fucks are out.
Alaska.
Okay.
That was my guess.
Okay. Yeah. Alaska. Yeah. It's just too cold.
It's too far away too, so they can't really unless they hitchhike in somebody's.
Hold on.
luggage or
Let me
something.
just read what I wrote. No, Ted's wrong. It is literally the cold. It is literally the horrific and awful cold and the lack of places for them to hide.
And North Dakota, that's pretty inhospitable. You ever been up there in the wintertime?
No.
Yeah.
Why would I go to fucking North Dakota in the winter?
Because you wouldn't, because it sucks.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's the only place that they have never found a black widow spider.
Interesting.
Does that scare you?
Maybe in 10 years with global warming, they'll make it up there.
No. My first thought was that somebody's going to see that and they're going to purposefully take black widow spiders
And introduce
to
them
Alaska
and introduce them into
there.
the ecosystem. Well, that's what happened in Florida. I think there's like an invasive species of snake. Somebody obviously physically brought it there, released it into the wild. It's like a invasive python, and now they're like everywhere.
Yeah, but the environment is conducive for them.
Yeah.
You could take a black widow spider up to fucking Alaska and they're not going to live.
Yeah. What if you take a bunch? What if you start breeding them?
Well, take them up there and breed them. They're not going to live. They can't live there.
Well, maybe
too cold.
inside. I don't know. I don't know how. I mean,
Well, if they're
I would
inside,
figure the
people
meth
just
would
start
kill
killing them and they're done.
I guess. Yeah, I guess that
What's
makes
that
sense.
one fish that was invasive in Lake Michigan? The carp, the carp, the Asian carp. Remember that was like a big thing
Yeah.
for a while.
Kopi.
Is that the nickname?
That's
or
what they
the-
call it on the menus now.
Is that the one that was attaching itself to boats and ships?
I
That
think
No,
they could just eat everything. Yeah, they just ate everything, and I think they were an invasive species. But I think they were like electrocuting them. They actually put out like large fishing nets to electrocute them. But yeah, but I think you could actually cook them. They're like kind of a delicacy if you debone them right, supposedly. So.
Well, you can eat anything. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make it good, but I mean, if you put enough spice on something, it's gonna taste good.
Irish it up. Yep.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Putting spices on the fish, Irishing up?
No, isn't Irishing up throwing alcohol in something?
Well, it just means you're masking the true taste of it. It's just an expression.
No, I think Irishing it up is literally putting alcohol in coffee or putting alcohol in your milk.
Sure.
Yeah, shit like that.
We're talking about fish. So.
Okay, hold on a second. You know what that makes me want to do?
Turn up your volume.
It literally. Hold on. Oh man, am I not doing this? Oh, it's fuck it. I got to get a little William Shatner. I have to. I can't. I'm like in this weird place now that I can't go.
Trees and marmalade skies. Somebody calls you answer quite slowly.
A girl with kaleidoscope eyes. I can't.
How many drugs is that guy on when he's saying that? That's what I want to know.
I just.
He's not doing that sober, right?
I don't know. Somebody thought this was an idea. Here's my thing. He either came up with this idea, somebody went, good idea, or somebody came up to him and said, you know, William, I hear you in the car. You're just amazing. You got to do that.
You know, he's been doing that for years.
Yes.
I learned. I looked it up after the show. He's been doing these songs and parodies and written word and all that stuff for speaking written word for decades.
Yeah.
Howard Stern's been goofing on him for doing that for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at his discography. He's got to have 15 albums out.
Yeah.
He's got Christmas stuff. It's called, are you ready for this? Instead of Santa Claus, it's called Shatner Claus. Oh, my God. Wow. This guy, you know what? I know he made fun of himself with the Star Trek stuff because it was such a short-lived thing and how everybody loves it and everything, and he kind of made fun of that. But, dude, he's got to be so into himself, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's William Shatner. I mean, what does he care what Howard Stern thinks?
Yeah,
Right.
but Teddy,
So-
what would you?
Well, he goes on Howard Stern. He's been
a
on,
guest
yeah.
on
Oh, yeah.
Stern.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
So we'll get him on. We'll get him on. But Teddy, how would you, like, what kind of songs would you sing if you were going to do a song? What kind of songs did you sing?
Oh man, that's a good one. What kind of songs? Well, I'm not a good singer, so it would have to.
No,
be
you're a
something,
terrible
It'd
singer.
have to be something very simplistic.
The alphabet song. The
Not
alphabet
a lot
song.
of words.
There's a lot of letters
Probably
in that one, Mark. A lot of letters.
Nursery rhymes.
Ted's.
Nursery
Oh
rhymes.
my God, that's it.
Mother Hubbard.
Ted sings nursery rhymes.
Well, probably on a couple.
Old
edibles.
Mother Hubbard. Old Mother Hubbard.
in a British accent.
Yeah. Searched through her cupboard for a big bottle of Crown. That's right. Teddy, that would be so awesome. Oh, my God. All right, Mark, you know you would listen to that at least once.
No.
Yeah, you would.
No.
You'd have to.
I'd listen to it live, but I wouldn't go it again.
Oh, the live recording?
Yeah, I'd be there for the recording, but I would not go home and listen to it again unless it was fantastic.
It wouldn't be. It would be.
No, I mean I don't mean that in a good way. I mean
Yeah.
like hysterical, like
Well, what about the guy? Remember that guy on American Idol, William Hunn? He was like the worst singer, but he was so terrible that they actually turned him into a star because he was so awful. Remember William Hunn? The she bang.
That's what Ted
the
does, Pete. Drives me nuts.
No,
Just bangs the table.
The she bang song. Remember him from a few years ago?
She bang.
Yeah, you'd have to Google it, but yeah, he was awful. But he
Wait, like
performed-
he bang, we bang.
yeah,
she...
and he was like off
sang
tune.
that song?
Yeah, something like that. But he was completely off tune, and he had like professional like backup dancers and singers. But I guess they were, it was kind of a parody, like it was like a caricature of himself because he was so terrible. So instead of getting booted like immediately like he should because he has no talent, they actually turned him into like a like he had his 15 minutes.
wait, who was it again? I'm sorry.
William Hunn or something.
I know who you're talking about. I
Yeah.
do remember that. I
Yeah.
don't remember what the name was though.
Yeah, it was the song was like She Bang or some
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
song like that. Do you remember that?
So turning a talentless person
Talentless.
into a
No, it was
worldwide
like-
phenomenon.
Yes.
Hold on. I need, Pete, Mark, I need you to think about this. Do you know anyone who's taken a talentless person and turned them literally into a worldwide phenomenon? That's me. I've done it.
Oh.
With Ted. Okay? Right?
Oh, I thought
You didn't-
I thought you meant Joe Biden. or
You didn't let us answer that question.
No, it was rhetorical.
We were waiting for who goes first.
Right.
No, you knew, everyone knew the answer.
knew
for
we
that.
got one
Yeah,
guess
everyone knew
each.
that. All right. I got to do this. So last week we were talking about that copper bullet hose. My sister got her copper bullet hose and sent me a picture, and it's in the box, and she's holding it up, and my niece is on the same thread, and she goes, my mom could lift it up so easy, it was so light.
Was it filled with water at the time?
So when you were talking about this last week, they're great hoses. Here's their problem: 25-foot length. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's so short. So for whatever reason,
It's not the size of the hose, Pete. So,
Oh.
so
Hey,
don't,
I
yeah.
wouldn't even be able to get to. I mean, anything.
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, well, you
I
got to
couldn't
get
even get up to the top of the stairs from the spigot because it's like
you got to get
20
3 of them.
You just connect them
You guys
all.
got like
Yeah, you
5
just
acres.
connect them
You got
all.
like 5
That's what-
acres or
Don't
something?
know if you can.
I don't think you
How
can.
can you not connect? You just screw the one into the other one. It's
the
not,
male
it's not
into
hose
the female?
science. Yeah, it's
You
not
have
hose
to buy an
science.
adapter. You can't.
What? No. What are you talking about? You could just screw one hose. If you bought 2 hoses, you could just screw one end into the other end.
All right.
Are you unfamiliar with hoses?
I'm wondering if it would still work at that length if you added 2 or 3. I don't know.
Well, normal hoses, yeah, but
What?
I'm with him. It's like a weird.
Design.
Yeah.
All right, and welcome to Hose Talk. I just think you
Hoser.
couldn't you just put 10 of them together? I mean, what would be the difference? It's still just water, isn't it? Am I wrong?
Why don't they just make a 100-footer or a 50-footer?
I don't know. Don't they?
They don't have a 50-footer?
No.
I don't know. I didn't watch the infomercial. I just I just watched it on TV. I mean, I didn't pay attention to what they were saying, except that it was really light, and everyone seemed so fucking happy when they got one.
That hose has been around for over 20 years.
What?
Over 20 years.
Then why was I buying shitty hoses that rip in half and kink up and
That's
and
been on
everything's-
television. It's been a thing seen on TV. It's been over 20 years. Look it up.
I don't want to. You look it up.
No.
Holy shit.
I guarantee you it's 20 years.
What?
Wow.
Can I tell you a quick story about infomercial?
Okay, go
'Cause
ahead.
When I was listening to the show last week, my old black and tan coonhound one day, he hits the TV and it changes channel. I was watching the Bulls, and there's a Shark infomercial for the vacuum cleaner. Never knew what a Shark vacuum cleaner was. So I'm, get the hell out of there, Cooper, and move him out of there. But I start watching the infomercial. Before I turned the Bulls game back on, I had ordered it online. And I've
impressed.
had 3 of them ever since.
Nice.
Thanks,
Nice.
Cooper.
Thank you, Cooper.
So your dog is manipulating you.
It was easy.
He's in on it.
You know what? I'm actually not surprised. I mean, everything else. I'm looking at advertising and I'm thinking we got to be the stupidest animal on the planet. We're even dumber than cicadas, right? Because all they need to do is show us anything, say the words new, improved, faster, better, make your life easier, and then show a bunch of really stupid people smiling every time they use it, and we buy that shit up all the
You
time.
know what the solution is? I came up with it years ago because I'm the biggest sucker there is.
Yeah.
So now when I see something, I immediately write it off in my mind. It's a piece of shit. I'm not buying it. I come up with it right away. And then from that point on, I have no interest in buying it.
Good.
Even though it probably is the best and everyone has it, like this stupid fucking hose. You know how many times I wanted to buy that hose?
You solved your addiction.
And that was it. I'm like, there's no way.
We have that hose, by the way.
I bought a hose similar. I bought the same kind of hose, but not that hose. But I bought one on Amazon. That I needed a hose because
Where is it?
it's in the backyard.
Does it work?
Yeah, but it's a 50-footer.
Shit.
Yeah, no, it's a 50-footer.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and it actually works, and it gets longer as you fill it with water.
See, I couldn't even use a 50-footer. My garden is like 70 feet from the spigot.
Jesus
What do you live in,
Christ.
like Buckingham Palace? Where do you
No.
live?
Where's your mansion? Is it? Yeah. It seems like a really big yard. I mean, I've seen your house. It seems weird that your yard is like 5 times bigger than your actual home.
From the back of my house to the alley is 40 feet
Okay, how would a 50-foot hose not work?
because the spigot is all the way on the south. I mean, my lot
On
is
the
also-
side of your house?
No, on like
The other
whatever.
corner
It's-
in the
it's-
back.
It's at least 60 feet. It's a diagonal. It's a diagonal from the
All right,
back
so
of my yard.
Here's what I know. Everyone wants this to happen, so after the show, we're going to your yard.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I got a tape measure. I
40
got one
feet.
of
It's
those.
40 by 40.
Yeah, I got one of those digital tape measures.
My lot's not that big.
How much would it cost you to move the spigot to a closer spot to your yard?
Just bought a bigger hose.
just buy a bigger hose. So you can move the
It's
spigot.
not an issue.
You can pay a
It's
contractor.
an issue if I have a short hose.
It's
Pay a contractor $20,000 to
I
move
am-
the spigot, or pay
I
an
am
extra
not getting
$10 for a
involved in that.
50-foot hose. Okay.
Can we
got it.
start the show over again? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Pete. This is
Yeah,
bad.
we did. We this didn't even count. No one's we're
Hold
not
on.
recording.
All right,
this.
let's just start the show.
Okay.
This is the Real Three Idiots podcast, and happy Sauntering Day. Yeah, Sauntering Day. Now you're right. I had no idea.
It's not what today is.
Today is Sauntering Day. Sauntering is a style of walking. A saunter is a slow walk which carries, are you ready? A cheerful attitude. So Mark, you're out. Those who saunter don't hurry. They absorb the wonders of nature and contemplate the weather. A rare saunterer plots a course, nor do they know their destination, time. There's no schedule. Yeah.
Sounds
That's
like
sauntering.
sounds like they're aloof and they're a hobo with no.
So if
they
you
don't have to be anywhere.
if you found out you were freed today, you would saunter away. Would that be a
you
good
would- You
description?
would saunter. Well, I don't know. I think you'd move very quickly. You'd want to get as quickly as possible. You would want to, take off. All right. Oh, one last thing, and this is weird to me. Before we get to Ted's tip, Swiss Army knives. Everybody ever have one?
Yeah, of course.
Everybody had one.
Yeah.
So Swiss Army knife has a new Swiss Army knife, no blade. Everything but the blade. So it's a Swiss Army.
Corkscrew.
I've seen those.
Screwdriver.
I guess you could call it a Swiss Army corkscrew.
Nail file.
I think that's weird
No
too.
knife.
I've seen them.
Everything but the knife.
Hard to play mumbly peg with that Swiss Army knife.
Well, I mean, isn't part of the Swiss Army knife like to save your life? Like it's everything you have. Now you need a Swiss Army knife, and then you need a knife.
It's more like a thing for camping, you know.
Right, but you could use a knife.
But it was something that was the Swiss Army used, right?
Yeah, I think it was actually something.
Switzerland have an army?
They had an army. They had an army. They just never used it. They were neutral.
Had a brigade.
They were perfect, right?
Yeah.
No one ever invaded them because they knew that their army were a bunch of badasses, but they never got involved in anything. They just said, "You guys do what you're going to do, but don't fucking come near us. We've got this."
We should have a top 10 list about countries that should, like, easily most conquered countries. I would think Switzerland, Montenegro, the Vatican City, right? Like, if you wanted to invade them, you could just take them over, like, overnight. Like a
Montenegro.
You know what?
Why Montenegro?
Would
like a
anyone want to go to
bloodless coup?
Vatican City
Like a
and
bloodless
just
coup?
see all the things that with it? Oh God, you don't want to know those secrets. Knowing what we know,
Catacombs?
do you even want to know what we don't know?
What do you mean? You think it wrote it all down?
I bet there. Yeah, I bet there's.
Documented?
I bet it's all documented somewhere. I bet it's like that guy that keeps trophies. The serial
Mistake
killer.
number one.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, man. I know what we know. I don't want to know what we don't know. It's too scary. And by the way, none of those countries are the easiest, the most takeable, overable.
What did you say?
Takeable over? What-
Takeable, overable. Yeah, that's a real phrase.
It's a military term. Ted.
Monaco?
Military term.
Monaco?
Yeah, listen. There are a lot of generals in big rooms. Yeah, saying which of these are takeable, overable? And it's like, yeah, we don't want that one. We absolutely don't want that one. All right, Teddy. Mark, do you have a poem?
Sure.
What does that mean? Sure. You shirt on the you did sure. All right. All right, Teddy, we are going to get hold on, I got your lie, your tip lie is a little bit more involved this
I read
time.
that story, actually, ironically, before you sent it to me, so I thought that was
so
sort of
today
interesting. Yeah.
today we had a viewer, the listener, we had one of their tips, but we got to do this, okay? We have to help somebody out. I feel like there's a woman in Vermont that desperately needs our help. And we're going to help her, and then we're going to send this to her, directly to her.
She hasn't asked for our help yet, but
She has not.
But she needs it.
She needs it. She needs it because in a couple of days she's going to have to answer for what she did.
Yeah, she's going to have to get her PR team out there and do some damage control.
Right, and she's clearly not going to tell the truth. She has to lie.
Yeah.
So we need a plausible lie.
Got it.
Come to the
Okay.
right place.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Just a reminder that Ted's tips, though lying is fun and can get you wonderful things, lying can be dangerous and very difficult to stop. Okay. All right. Mark, dazzle us.
Right about now, you may be thinking, is he still drinking? Or is he done? Is that Ted on the run? Let's hope not, because we got a show to top. So lend him your ears and pop open those beers. We all know a guy that's geared to rip it, clip it, and tip it. But wait, there's more. Call now. See how he bends it? Wow, the truth, Ruth. That's his M.O. Just don't try. There's something there about that there Ted's lie. Ted, start lying.
That was
Outstanding.
edgy. That was edgy.
Start
See,
lying.
look, he just did. He said it was edgy. He's
was
lying.
edgy.
He's lying. All right. Oh, you know what? Before we get to Ted's tip, we got to say that our number one fan, I'm going to call Pete our number one fan, our Kathy Bates, is in the studio with
Brought
us.
the hammer, Ted.
Woo! I was
Yeah.
waiting for you to introduce
I
it.
brought the hammer, Ted.
Yeah. So
Hell yeah.
So yeah. So
I brought the bed.
Pete has listened. Pete has listened to every show we've ever done.
It's a sledgehammer, by the way.
Okay, and given me many notes. Okay, many notes, including the many times he said, "Does Ted really have to drink?" Because he goes. There was a couple of shows where I couldn't understand anything he was saying, and I'm like, "No, see, here's what you got to do." I go, "You got to drink." Right, and then Ted makes more sense.
Yeah.
So this is show better listened to. Very drunk.
Wait, did Pete bring his dental records and did he put his phone on airplane mode? That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
Just so we can't, just in case people want to know where he's at. Oh,
Well,
I mean,
we
Pete,
told
he
him,
didn't hear
Ted,
that.
Pete. Teddy, we can't off Pete right now because I've just said.
I just don't want to off him. I want to keep him indefinitely.
Oh, keep it forever? Yeah. That's the way I figured. So when we finish up the show, Pete, and we're getting the titles and we're getting all the things that go along with the show, so we can go out and have a few drinks. Teddy just walks right over to the couch over here, and he just lays on the couch. And every time he does it, I tell Mark, I'm like, this is the day that he just doesn't leave.
It scares the shit out of man.
Yeah.
When he looks over and
Finally
sees
booted him.
Yeah. He just
Finally
sits down.
booted
Yeah.
him.
He grabs his phone.
I got a lease.
Yeah. Yeah. And he just lays there, and he doesn't really help much. The only thing he'll say is every once in a while, as Mark and I are doing the stuff, getting ready, he'll repeat something.
Yeah.
So Mark will go, oh, we talked about Jessica Biel. And Teddy will go like this. I go, Teddy, any other tags? He goes, Jessica Biel? But he'll say it like this. Did we talk about Jessica Biel?
Oh, by the way, on a side note, Justin Timberlake got arrested for
Again.
DUI in the Hamptons.
Again?
And that's Jessica Biel's husband, for all of those who don't know.
Here, okay. You know what? And we'll get to Jessica Biel because she did something very, very interesting in the last couple of days, and we'll get to her. But we got to get to Ted's tip. Okay. So this is the person who really knows this, and I sent you guys this story, so hopefully you guys got to see this. There's a Republican woman in the Vermont state legislature. Okay. For the last 5 months, she has been pouring. This is so weird. Water into the bag of one of the Democratic state legislators, into his bag.
Like a tote bag. It's a tote bag.
Right.
That's hanging outside his office door. So it's an open tote bag. Yeah.
Right. And she's been pouring water into there.
A cup of water. Just a cup of water. Yep.
Now here's how it starts. Yeah. Okay. About twice a week, she was walking over there and just pouring water in his bag. And then he's just like, what the fuck? Why are people pouring? So who's pouring water in my bag? And at first he was just like, how is water getting in my bag? Then all of a sudden he realizes that this is happening on purpose. Okay. Now, this is the weird part because this can't be a normal story. The guy has a substance abuse problem. Okay. So he goes off and he goes to rehab. He gets treatment. He comes back. From the day he comes back, this woman pours water into his bag every single day for 3 months. I want you to think about this. She is targeting him. Now, he realizes that this is probably her doing it because she is every day just tearing him to pieces on the floor of the state legislature. She's absolutely being horrible to him. They actually have accounts, so I had to do a deep dive on this thing. They have accounts of people of the terrible, awful, horrible things that this, 67-year-old woman was saying to this guy on the floor, no repercussions whatsoever. So he had an idea that it was this woman who was pouring the water into his bag. And by the way, again, last 3 months, every single day. So he sets up a sting. He puts a camera there. And he catches her 2 days just walking up to his bag and pouring a big-ass glass of water into his bag. Greatest thing ever. Okay? They catch her. He turns her in. He shows the video. He turns her in. And she comes on. She gives a little press conference. And she says, she never says, I'm sorry. She says, I apologize to him in person. My behavior was awful. And then they asked, why? She said nothing and walked away. Okay? So that's where it ended. She just recently got caught. Everything's been out. Okay? Now, she has never yet said why she did it. Ted, you have the most difficult job that you ever could. You need to come up with a lie for why this crazy-ass bitch was pouring water into this guy's bag every day for 3 straight months.
And I think it should be noted, she's been in office since like 98.
Yeah.
She's been around a long time.
She is, yeah, and she's clearly a very angry old woman. She's a very angry
Possibly
old woman.
unhinged.
Ted, that was her sense of revenge. Her sense of revenge was every day that he came to work for 3 straight months. After coming back from rehab, after admitting he had a substance abuse problem, coming back from rehab, she had to fuck with him every day for 3 months. Now, she needs a lie. I'm sending this directly to her. As soon as we are done, I'm taking this show and I'm emailing it directly to her every single day until someone in the Vermont, in her office, responds to this. So I need you to do a good job.
So it sounds like she definitely created a hostile work environment for her coworker.
Yeah, she hates this guy for whatever reason.
Well,
she hates
well,
this
actually, I did read the backstory. So the backstory is, I guess this guy was the paper boy for her mother back in the day, and I guess because of his stance on abortion, which is contrary to hers, that's what kind of, I guess, like triggered her. This is going way back when.
Right.
So
there's
some background
good
there.
deep dive.
No, but here's my question. So before I get to the lie part, the excuse part, here's my question. You hang up an open tote bag outside your office every day for 3 months, and there's water there. Wouldn't you just put the tote bag in your office and lock the door? Or wouldn't you take a backpack that you can zip up and put a little padlock on it so no one can pour the water in your bag? Stop being a victim, man.
So it's
right?
his fault. It's his
Well,
fault
I'm just
she's
saying,
doing
you
this.
know it's coming, right? He's okay. After 2 days, okay, maybe it's coincidence. Okay, a week straight, a month straight. Can you just connect the dots, man? You can't put the tote bag in your
Okay,
office.
so-
I know you're only a legislator, so you're not very bright. I get it, So
No, okay. So Mark, in Ted's defense, that was one of the weird things I thought. Why would you leave your bag?
sounds like he's perpetuating it.
But why would
It's
you
like he
leave
wants-
your
it's like he
bag
wants it
in
to
an
happen.
area
Yeah.
where someone could keep on doing this? It was kind of weird. It's almost like he did it to catch somebody and he couldn't catch her.
It's like entrapping. It's like he's doing
Entrapment.
entrapment. Yeah,
It's entrapment?
entrapment. Yeah, because
That's what it is?
well,
Are you serious?
listen, if you put your property in the same spot for 3 months and it was sabotaged for 3 months straight, wouldn't somebody grow a brain and just say, you know what, maybe I should put my stuff somewhere else and secure it so it doesn't happen again?
He's not doing anything wrong.
He's not doing anything wrong, but he was kind of he's kind of playing a
Why
victim
should
too.
he have to do that? Why shouldn't he be able to hang up a bag without somebody pouring water in it?
But they did pour water in it. They did pour water.
No,
then-
it's- okay,
so
hold on.
it's like
he-
3 months straight.
He's probably saying, you know what? Why should I have to? They could keep fucking doing it then. I'll find out who it is, and then they'll have to pay the price.
and he did. And he
yeah,
did.
but he didn't entrap her. She kept doing it.
Right. No, but I'm saying, but he's kind of to blame in a way too because
He's
you know.
not
he-
to
Wait, are
blame
we
for
saying? Wait, are you
anything.
saying he's an enabler?
I'm saying is that he could have done something different. He could have, if it was that big a deal to him, I know it's a big deal now. He could have easily taken the freaking tote bag and put it in his office and locked the door. I'm assuming his office has a lock on it.
And then she would have found something else to do, and he would have
Well,
to
yeah.
adjust to that, and
That's
he would
po-
adjust to that, and just
possible.
that's not the answer to the
It's
solution.
possible.
The solution is that she shouldn't have been doing it.
Yeah, of course not. I'm not
So
excusing
Mark
her,
is
I'm not excusing
hold
her
on.
behavior.
Mark is right though.
Where
what
does
if
it end? Where
what
does
if
it
he
end?
did that? What if he put his bag away, and the next day she just shot him? Okay, that's extreme. That's extreme.
It's a big leap.
But with a water gun.
Yeah, one of those the Nerf water guns.
super soaker.
Excellent.
Super-
And then it
or
puts
the,
his
or,
eye
the, or,
out.
the, or the nylon hose.
Yeah, yeah. She gets a
Right,
copper
check.
Well,
bullet.
he,
But it only goes 25 feet, so he can't reach him in the Senate seat.
he probably did the citizens of Vermont a favor by continuing to hang it because finally they caught her, and hopefully after almost 30 years she'll just walk away.
I mean, obviously, it's not an impeachable
Doesn't
offense.
sound like-
It's not an impeachable offense. It's obviously workplace bullying. Obviously, the woman's got some mental health issues. So that gets me to the actual
we
lie.
go.
Okay,
Here's
so
what-
here's the lie.
So here's the mea culpa, because people love an apology. So here's what she's going to do. She's going to say, it pains me to say this to the good people of Vermont, but unfortunately, I do have an undiagnosed mental health condition where I have a fetish with golden showers. So the water represented pee. I'm embarrassed to say that, but I'm in the process of seeking therapy, and I ask the good people of Vermont for their thoughts and prayers, and play the sympathy factor. See?
That's
So wait, so
She
she's
wasn't pissing on the bag,
No, she wasn't, but the water was symbolic piss.
so she pictured
It was
herself
symbolic.
pissing on
No,
it.
she was picturing
yeah.
herself getting peed on.
But
by
a
him.
golden shower isn't pissing over a bag.
No, golden shower was being pissed on, a person pissing on another person, but the water was
but
symbolic
this is a
piss.
bag on person thing.
Yes.
Okay.
But in her mind, because we have the fantasy.
well, she's got mental illness
She's got mental illness.
issues. So
Yeah, she's got mental health issues.
I would have just said the bag looked thirsty. End of
Right.
story.
Well, it's well
and
it's well
she's
hydrated
probably
now.
the dry bag.
It's well hydrated
end,
now.
end of story.
it.
The bag looked thirsty. End of story. So he had to have brought it up, right? At some point, he had to say, "Listen, somebody is pouring water into my bag. Could you just stop?"
Who's the supervisor legislator? Wouldn't he email him and say, boss person of the Vermont legislator, my bag is being saturated with water on a daily basis for months and months on end.
Yeah.
How are we going to stop this transgression from happening again?
What if she said someone's tote bag keeps drinking my fucking water?
That's brilliant. I like that.
I mean, this is how insane this
But
is.
she needs a lie. Hold on. It doesn't matter why she did it. It doesn't matter. She needs a plausible reason
Well, he just gave it.
so that she can keep her job,
yeah,
right?
let's assume she's deep down she really the reason
She
the
seems
real motive-
very mean.
She's vindictive. She's mean spirited. There's a lot of people like that in the world, and she was just projecting her anger on this guy because she can't do anything. She knows that there's repercussions. If she, of course, if she could harm him physically, she probably would, but she knows she can't do that because there's repercussions for that. Not because she doesn't want to, but because she knows she would get in trouble. So this is kind of that a passive aggressive way to kind of get at him. So the way, like I said, to cut this off at the pass and do some damage control. I have an undiagnosed mental health issue, and I was just projecting my deep-seated anger that has nothing to do with this gentleman, and I'm going to seek treatment immediately. And I ask the people of Vermont for their thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Okay.
See,
And you know what? It probably all stems from, since he was her mother's newspaper boy.
Newspaper boy.
He probably threw I'll tell you right now.
In the
He probably
bushes.
threw the water in the bushes, paper in the bushes. It got wet.
Yeah.
And that's why, right?
Or maybe
she's manifesting that.
Or maybe he had some like Mrs. Robinson fantasy about the mother when he was a young kid. We don't really know, but let's just go with the golden shower. Let's go with the golden shower syndrome.
That guy was banging that chick's mom when he was the paperboy?
No, he just jerked off over her. They didn't really bang her.
Hey, Pete, welcome to the show. You picked a great show to be on. Yeah.
You know, I would tell you, she has the only job in America where she can get away with, like Pete was saying, the things that she said to him in front of the other legislators and on the floor, the insults, the bullying, the words alone, you would be fired in corporate America.
Right.
You couldn't say that immediately.
Well, unless you
could not go
but
up.
If you're in professional ranks too, like if you were an NBA player and you were like the star of the team and you berated somebody who was like the bench player, you're not going to fire LeBron James, right, for chewing out the 11th man on the bench, are you?
There are
so
very.
Come on.
Well, that's why I said like corporate America, like a normal job. An NBA player is not a normal
But
job.
in politics, locally and nationally, it doesn't matter.
No.
Those rules are all.
She knew she
they're all
couldn't get
gone.
away with it.
Remember when Michael Jordan
Decorum is not part of
punched
it.
Steve Kerr during a practice one time, and did they bench Michael Jordan? No, because it's just Steve Kerr.
No, they got mad at Steve Kerr for trying to hurt Michael Jordan's hand.
Exactly.
Yeah, you were being such an asshole that you almost hurt our star player when he punched you in the face. Yeah, that's a terrible thing. All right, so Pete, now that you've seen the process, you've been here, you've seen the process of Ted's tips.
He's not trusting the process, so that's the problem.
I mean, is it better or worse live? I mean,
It's pretty similar to what I've been listening to for 2 years, almost 2 years now.
Same answer.
I don't have a lot to work with, Pete.
He always
I don't
goes with
have
the
a lot to
golden
work
shower.
with. Just go with when in case break glass in case of emergency. Just go with the golden shower.
I think what
go
might
with
help
the bukkake party
is like in the upcoming presidential elections where you have a mic kill switch and you just kill the mic switch.
Well, they're going to use
when
that.
you need to.
They're going to use that with the debates.
think
that's what he
next
just
week.
said.
Yeah.
That would be really beneficial.
holy, you know what?
Just
Mark, I want you to think about this. I've never once thought of just killing Ted's mic when I've just had enough.
Oh, I didn't say Ted. I'm just suggesting that might be a helpful device.
You know, I have the power. The board is right here. I can easily just press one button, and you know what? It's just Mark and I. It's Mark and I having a nice conversation about his backyard, how we can make
Ted's
it better.
on the couch sleeping.
No, the words that come out of Ted's mouth don't bother me. Ted's entertaining, and Ted's articulate, and Ted has a vocabulary that surprises me because
Right.
he can't remember
Right.
You were here.
What happened yesterday?
what we need to do.
What does bother you, Mark?
Your European hand motion.
Actually,
You're pounding on the table.
So
You're
the funny thing
pounding on
is,
the
yesterday
table.
I
So
was.
I think we need to tie
Yesterday
you
I
up.
was at the bar and I was gesturing with my hands and I accidentally brushed against
done
the wait staff walking by. My apologies. I just
like
just
10
on the,
times.
on the shoulder. I'm like, oh.
Did you tell him you had mental health issues
said I had
and you
mental health issues,
apologized?
yeah.
He's a groper.
Yeah.
That's
He's
what
a
he
groper.
does. That's what he does.
With the back of my hand. Yes.
So does this freak you out? We're at say you're sitting at a bar or whatever, right? And one guy, and this happened with Teddy yesterday and happened with another guy. They sit in a place and their seats way back or whatever, and nobody can get by, and nothing can happen. And it freaks me out that the people who are doing that don't pay attention. So Teddy and I were talking yesterday in the bar. No, Tuesday. Was it Monday? After we were golfing. Was it Tuesday?
Monday.
Super hot. We're in the bar. We're talking. And so we got a big table, and Ted decides to sit all the way at the edge of the table, as close to the people where everybody's walking. And he decides he's got to tell his stories, and he's just waving his arms around. And every time one of the waitresses comes around, he's hitting her. Oh, she's got to duck. She's got to do all this stuff. And at no point does he just slide one seat over where he can just stand up and do whatever. And I'm laughing my ass off. And everybody walks by. He's just he's doing the European hand gestures.
I became cognizant of it after about the second or third time.
Ted, you became cognizant 5 minutes before we left.
And I tucked my arms in.
Yeah, we're
like,
both
like T-Rex. I was like this.
Yeah, so he's on his fourth double crown and diet, right? I've had 7 beers. I'm pouring 7 beers into me, right? And finally Ted realizes he's like, you know what? I think I pretty much grabbed every girl's boob in this whole place. Man.
Our bill was only like $15.
My arms are killing me.
Yeah.
My arms all bruised up.
All right. Speaking of women, I said I would talk about Jessica Biel. Jessica Biel recently wrote a book. Yeah, she is an author, not just a fantastically beautiful girl, and a pretty decent actress. I've seen a couple of her things.
Yeah, she hasn't acted. She hasn't acted for a long time. I mean, why she doesn't need to, right? Because she's got a pretty comfort. I think she's retired from acting. I'm assuming. I haven't seen her name for years.
I haven't seen her in anything at all. But yeah, she's dating. You're Google. Pete's googling.
No, she's married to Justin Timberlake. They have like 2 kids together.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say, as far as people go, and I know Justin Timberlake, I guess we now realize he's a raging alcoholic. I don't know.
He's pretty. You know, he's pretty. He's
Right,
a pretty boy.
but
so.
great singer,
Yeah.
excellent actor,
Dancer.
Triple
right?
threat.
Great. Yeah, he is.
And he's got a dick in the box.
Oh,
Yes, he
man.
does.
If that's not one of the greatest things Saturday Night Live has ever done, Adam Sandberg and him with Dick in a Box. If you have never listened to that,
Oh, I didn't hear that.
here's what I want you to do. If you're listening to this show, I want you to pause it right now. I want you to just go into SNL, Dick in a Box, and listen to that song. The full version, it's fantastic.
Actually, he's done more than one music skit. That's good.
And
Yeah.
that insult
well,
injury.
I Want to Bang Your Grandma was
Yeah.
the other one, right? That was the second
I think
one.
he's like a single-digit golfer, which even makes things worse. So
Is he that good?
he's
Yeah,
that
he
good.
is,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
pretty good.
Wow, he's that good, and he's I'm assuming he's drunk all the time when he
Yeah,
plays.
he
now.
lost swing juice.
Well, he's not like Brad Pitt drunk, you know, but he's like Justin Timberlake drunk. You know, so-
Wait, Brad Pitt's a drunk too?
He's
Oh,
not
yeah.
a good golfer though.
No, I've never heard of Brad Pitt doing anything athletic. So
All right, so I'm reading about this. So Jessica Biel just got a book, just released a book. Okay, I'll give you all one guess. Anything that Jessica Biel would write about?
My life with a drunk.
I'm exhausted from being so beautiful. Written by Giselle Bundchen.
She still looks fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Pete, guess.
No idea.
Good answer, excellent. She wrote a book about periods. Yeah, periods.
Was she an English teacher?
No, not those kind of periods.
Dots at the end of the sentences
No.
before a new sentence starts.
No, and
Menstrual
not classes. A menstrual
1700.
cycle.
Oh.
A menstrual cycle. Okay.
Ew.
Well, particularly her menstrual cycle, because she's obviously not privy to what other women's menstrual
What
cycle
is she,
might be.
Judy? The new Judy Bloom now?
No, I mean Ted. She wasn't particularly writing about how she has a period. She said in the interview that when she was younger, when she was 11, she got her first period, and that it kind of freaked her out. So she wanted to write a book to help people. And she said one of the first things she did, which I thought was kind of cool.
Which people?
Kids?
Oh, so an 11-year-old's going to read about your book. That's her target audience. Okay, yeah.
It's literally what is the name of it? Book by I don't remember the name of it. Damn it!
Bloody Mary.
Everything about it except the goddamn title. But I think it's about your period by Jessica Biel.
Let it flow.
One of the things she said she did was she had her young sons, read about it so they knew what that was, so they wouldn't be dicks about it, because
Pardon the pun?
No,
Pardon the pun, yeah.
to be honest with you, I mean, guys, we've probably all been part of this, right? We're kind of shitty about it. We are.
Yeah.
We're shitty about it, right? But then I started thinking about this, right? So a kid's going to read a book written by Jessica Biel because any little girl who wants to know about this wants her information from not a doctor, not a specialist, an actress.
Yeah.
They want an actress's version of.
But there's
period.
there's a million books out there that talk about adolescence and coming of age and puberty stuff written by
Medical
like
professionals.
Judy Bloom
medical
wrote books like
professionals,
that.
yeah.
The girls that read and
She did?
Who's
yeah,
the two sex?
Freckle
who's the two
Juice
sex?
and
Who's the two sex
Dear
doctors?
God, It's Me, Margaret.
Yeah.
Books like that mention things that adolescents are going through.
The two sex doctors, the most famous ones. They're like older, like
Dr. Ruth?
Dr. Ruth. But there's another one. There's like 2 of them. There's like a man and a woman. They're like older, and they've written like multiple books on.
I know.
Sex.
Who's
I
the
can't
guy who
get
was
names.
in the Man Show? He's still on every once in a while. I see him.
Oh, that douche.
Yeah, that douche dude. But yeah, but I figured this is what I thought. If a little girl wants to know about this stuff, why would she read a book
Why isn't that
from
mom's
Jessica
job?
Biel?
Yeah.
Well, you know what though? I mean,
My mom bought me a book.
about periods.
No.
Sorry, it's just about what getting hard-ons and that kind of stuff and
Yeah, I mean everything, and I mean, she's a single mom. She had 2 fucking boys,
Right.
And
To rein
it wasn't- I mean,
rein you guys in.
and it was amazing. I mean, it really was. I mean, it was cool. I mean, it did explain a lot when you're 11 years old, 12 years old, and
I think this is a little different. This is just a natural occurrence. It's just an individual occurrence, and you would think that mom would take on that role. Different than talking about the birds and the bees and
Sure.
everything else, because all of a sudden, you don't even know what's coming, and there's blood coming out of you. And you're like,
Sure. But
Where'd
here's
this come
this
from?
is a book that a mom would. I mean, I don't think a
But what
kid
about-
goes and buys this book, right?
right. But what about a dad?
11-year-old or
what about a dad who's got a couple of girls, right? And I mean, he doesn't. I mean, I got to be honest with you. If I was a single parent and I had daughters, I can tell you right now, I really don't know. I mean, I know the absolute bottom line basics, but I wouldn't know enough to talk to my daughters about any of this stuff.
But wouldn't you go to grandmother, or wouldn't you go to an aunt or somebody that is close? There's got to be some female relationship.
Get a consultant. You need a consultant. So.
Well, I mean, don't
What
you
about
want
one of your hookers?
what? Like the Julia Roberts kind? Wait, hold on.
You go to one of your hookers, Matt.
The hot Julia Roberts kind?
No,
or,
I'm saying if
or
you were
the disgusting,
if you were a
like,
single
meth
dad,
addict?
you would have all these hookers.
One of your associates.
You'd have a regular ring of hookers.
I don't know.
That's your dream. You
Hookers,
always talk
hookers
about
is a strong term, Mark. That's a strong term.
ladies
Yeah.
of the night,
Yeah, and I would like to call them. I mean, I would like to think call girls are way better at that.
working girls.
Working girls, yeah. But I mean, I think that you would do that, right? I mean, that kind of makes sense. Is to give them something. I'm just not sure a book from Jessica Biel is the book I want to have.
Well, here's the context. You're talking about somebody who's insulated from society, who lives an elite lifestyle in a little bubble, along with the rest of the Hollywood elite, even if she's not acting. So in her mind, she really thinks she's helping somebody, when in reality, she's obviously lives in whatever little ecosystem she lives in the Hamptons. I'm sure whoever she talked to said, "Oh, Jessica, that's a great idea." Where deep down they probably say, "This is fucking stupid."
They probably told her husband to have one more drink. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Ted, do you know what the name of the book is? It's called A Kid's Book About Periods.
A kid. That's it. Damn it! A kid's book on.
It's obvious.
No
It's obvious.
guesswork.
Pete,
No
that's the
guesswork.
title, dude.
No guesswork.
Yeah.
No, the guesswork is, what the fuck's a period?
Well,
Yeah.
we know,
That's what a kid's going to say. What's a period?
We know what the next book in Florida being banned is right now.
So that leads me into the next thing. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny because there's no way that any school library is ever going to have that, because they would, the less progressive ones, because they would not want anybody.
But why? It's biology.
Ted, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's like evolution versus.
It's a revolution.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that brings me to my next thing. Okay, book banning. Because
I'm reading her book now. So
Are you reading it right now? One day, yeah, everything was fine.
it's 66 pages. Okay,
That seems like way too.
Should have been 69 pages.
it's a whole lot.
Just for symbolic reasons.
And
Why not?
And it was printed in China.
What?
It was printed in China.
So there's a tariff on it.
It sold for $20. So she's making $19 a book.
Yeah, and the kid who actually wrote it is making what, 50 cents. That kid wrote it. Okay, but I wanted to talk about. So I found this out. I found this article about book banning, right? And it kind of blew my mind, because Florida is the place to go if you want to ban a book. I mean, they are, bar none, the number one book banning state. They blow Texas away, and Texas is good at it, right? And a lot of these other states, but Florida is really good. Okay, and this is pretty cool. In Florida, the Indian River School County District just banned a book called, are you ready? Ban This Book. A guy wrote a book.
Which granted.
A guy
I
wrote a
believe
book.
it's called Ban This Book.
Ban this book, okay? So this guy, Alan Gertz, he wrote this book. It's actually a cool little book. It's about a little girl who tries to check out a book from her school library, but finds out that a parent found it inappropriate, so it's banned. Okay? And a lot like that one girl we talked about who got that award, the Girl Scout Award. Remember that? We talked about she was starting at book banning stuff. This little girl in the book, she starts a secret banned book library where kids can check out books that are banned from the school library. That sounds like a pretty
Good for her. It's like the Underground Railroad.
It's a pretend book, Ted. It's not a real thing. This is not a real.
But unfortunately, it's kind of based on real life.
I mean, you know what? It is kind of based on what that girl did, that Girl Scout girl did in high school, right? Where she got places to get banned books. Yeah. So it is very similar to that. You're right. Okay, you're right. It's kind of cool. All right.
Question about banned books. So in Florida, schools and libraries, but you can go to a bookstore or order those books that are banned in schools and libraries freely, correct?
You can. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, you can order these things,
It's
but
just-
I think part of it is because it's a library, it's available to everybody, even if you don't have the money, if you don't have the resources, if you don't have, I mean, everybody's got a school, pretty much everybody has a school library. They might not have a bookstore by them, right? Because bookstores are kind of,
Yeah, they're kind of a thing of the, like Barnes and Noble, Borders. You don't really see them. I mean, everything's like Kindle or online these days.
And that's what Matt brought this point up a few months ago. You have to be an absolute moron to really think that you're going to ban a book in this day and age when everything's on the internet.
Right.
Everything is online. So they don't go to the library. They go online to get it.
And the only way they can control the banning is because they're government-funded schools and libraries and whatnot.
Through
So
legislation, yeah.
they could do it. Otherwise, privately, they can't.
But the irony is, if there's a list of quote-unquote list of banned books and everybody knows what the list is, wouldn't you automatically be more curious about
And
that
that's what we-
particular
yeah.
book because you're not allowed to read this because by human nature, oh, I can't do this because of this. Well, I really want to see what this is all about. You know,
yeah.
Remember the Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie? That was the Ayatollah of Iran put a fatwa, which is like a death sentence on him, and the popularity of that book skyrocketed as a result of that. It's like, wow, this author's insulting Islam so badly that the leader of Iran wants this guy dead. Became like the #1 bestseller. So he actually did him a favor in a roundabout way.
So if the movie I Spit on Your Grave is based on a book, that book's probably banned.
Pete,
Right.
Pete, it's probably banned in most school libraries. It is probably banned in most school libraries. Okay, so this woman, and there's a mom from, and we've talked about this group before, Moms for Liberty. Yeah, she's a great group. Moms from Liberty Mom. Got the book to be banned, and this is her reason, and the school board went with it. You ready? Her exact words. It teaches rebellion of school board authority. That's how she got it banned.
Well, that's a good thing, actually. You know, you should question authority. But obviously that's a threat to their perceived power, so I could see why they agreed with that.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
So.
I mean, I could see that because, I mean, and you know what the funny thing is very few people, very few kids would ever go against that authority. So it's kind of a stupid concept, right? I mean, how many 6th, 7th, or 8th graders stand up to anything that happens in school, right? I mean,
Yeah, they're just trying to get through the day. They don't care about the school board. They don't care about what those adults are doing with their paperwork and closed door meetings, which is, so it's a silly concept.
right. I mean, Pete, were you a rebel when you were in school?
No.
Yeah.
Not
Mark?
towards school, maybe mom and dad for one time, and that was it. But
Yeah, so you got your ass beat just
That's right,
enough.
just
Yeah,
enough.
that was my favorite thing. I realized that was one of my favorite days, right? When I just realized, like, that's the limit. That's the limit where my dad had enough, and,
Well,
and
you
not
guys
like a
went
fun
to,
enough.
you guys went to public school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catholic
Oh, you did? Where'd
grammar
you go?
school,
Oh,
Catholic grammar school in Lane Tech.
yeah.
Public.
That's what
Yeah.
I mean. So high school, we didn't fuck around. We got
No.
beat up
Yeah.
at Gordon.
Oh yeah. Well, you guys had priests and stuff that they would kick your ass, right? They would actually hit you.
yeah,
Bro
the teachers
Frank.
would. Brother Frank, yeah. We had teachers.
Wait, didn't you
would.
say you got beaten by a nun? When you
Oh, yeah. That was at catechism, yeah.
Okay. So as I'm going through this, and I thought it was kind of funny.
Do you have a pen in this studio that works?
Yes, I have a pen in the studio that works. There you go. Okay. All right. So I thought it was kind of funny. So I went through and I looked for some of the books that were banned and then why they were actually banned and some of the very inane books. So I don't know if you guys know this. Have you guys ever, and I've never seen this before, have you guys ever seen a book called Where's Waldo?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, it's that little
So you-
character. He's like in a crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the glasses. You got to pick him out. He's got like the buck teeth. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
that book. Yeah.
Okay, so I've never seen, so it was an original book, Where's Waldo? Okay, and I guess the author was kind of out there in the 1987 very first Where's Waldo, okay, before he went and did all these other ones. And by the way, if you haven't checked out the series of Where's Waldo, it's pretty weird. He goes to some really fucked up places, okay, where they do like human sacrifices, the Aztecs. It's pretty weird.
He's on peyote when he's
It's
writing
pretty
it,
weird.
obviously. So.
But the original Where's Waldo, okay, if you go, and I don't even know how many pages it is, but if you go to page 4 on the original 1987 version and you look very, very, very closely, there is a topless girl on a beach. You literally, if you just looked at it, you would never even notice that she's in there, okay? But they had that in there. So that book, when a parent found that out, okay, they had that book banned. People in Michigan and New York, they were parents that said they had to be banned because if you looked real hard, and I'm telling you, it was insane.
Wait, you say look hard or get hard?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it was,
Okay,
it was
all right.
cartoon boobs.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. So
That doesn't matter a kid. by the way.
but here's the thing. I guess the author for Where's Waldo was pretty wild. All right. So 10 years later, they reprinted it and they put a top on it. Everything was fine. Weirdly enough, those cities and those school boards never reinstituted the covered up ones because it was done and they didn't want to revisit it. Okay. And I thought, all right, that's kind of weird. All right. Have you guys have Pete? You've got grandkids, right?
Yes, two.
All right. Mark, your kids are younger than Ted and I, but and Teddy, your kids are a little bit younger than mine. You guys remember Captain Underpants? You ever see that
Yeah,
one?
vaguely. I don't really
Vaguely,
know.
yeah.
I don't know too much about that.
Okay, so as a teacher, Captain Underpants is really fun little thing where the principal is a superhero. Okay, so he's just a regular guy, but when he becomes a superhero, he goes around in his underwear,
Oh boy.
just as tighty whities. It's
who are you talking
very
about?
Captain Underpants.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, yeah.
We had the whole series.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so very inane, very inane.
Sounds like pedophilia in the making, but go ahead.
Right? There's several school boards in Florida that ban that for two reasons. Number one, a guy in his underpants, and number two, they talked about underpants. I want you to think about this. I mean, what's available to everybody out there, they're doing this. And that was one of the things that totally freaked me out is at some point you make the most inane, useless things taboo. Where do you go from there?
Right.
Right?
It's going to be a desire then for learning about those things that they're banning. So things they may just gloss over as a kid. Now you've put a spotlight on it by banning. So
Yeah.
as they get older and understand a little bit about things that are banned, many kids are going to be curious and want to learn more about it.
Yeah, and now you're gonna get a kid probably growing up like if he just grew up with access to the book, he'd be fine. But now he might have like a underwear fetish or something when he's older. So you may actually probably doing more harm to him later in life. So it's unintended consequences. And like I said, number one, who's hiring these like closed-minded, small-minded people and putting them in positions
These
of
are all,
power?
no.
The
So,
voters.
but here's the thing: it's the parents who put the pressure on these few people, and most of these local school councils are people who are local people who are voted in, right, by the people in that area who give a shit enough to show up and vote for a local school council. Pete, have you ever, or do you know anyone who was on your kid's local school council?
Not anymore, no.
Did you?
I did.
Did you really? Were you involved in this?
No, but I just knew because he was a friend of ours, and he just went on the board in Park Ridge to, give back.
And it was a normal person.
Oh, absolutely normal. You know him.
Oh, yeah?
I knew everybody on our board in grammar school.
You're kidding me.
No,
Okay, I
We
know.
all-
I know,
I mean-
Ted. I know you and I don't.
I don't anymore. But when I was I don't know anybody at the high school. I gave all that up in grammar school. But I mean, I know I could name almost everybody. So we had, I believe it was seven members, parents from school. There's always a teacher representative, and then there's a
Yeah.
community representative too. So somebody that lives in the school district has to be on the board too.
Yeah.
But I knew all the parents that were on the board, and the community person eventually became a parent in the school too. So I knew them all.
But back then there was not a lot of controversy. It'd be about what they want tax wise and if they're
Well,
going to
no. The main purpose of the school board for CPS is to they're in charge of the budget
Right.
and
Right.
hiring and firing a principal,
Yeah.
and that's almost their only job. I mean, they
Very
hire,
hands off.
yeah. I mean, but they don't have a lot of power. They can they could fire the principal. They could decide that they don't want that principal anymore.
Oh, wow. And Ted, you and I are terrible parents because you had no idea.
I never went to a PTA meeting. I never.
Yeah, me neither.
Just,
Me
I mean,
neither.
my kid never had a problem in school. I heard of them, but I never had any concept of it because it didn't affect my life or my kid's life in any way, shape, or form. We just went to school, got good grades, got out. Right? That's the way it should be.
So I've got to be honest with you. And this is real, if I found out that they were banning books, if they banned Where's Waldo, I think I would be mad. I really do.
Yeah, I think I'd be inclined to go to one of those meetings and kind of read them the riot act. Not that they changed their mind, but just to kind of publicly shame them and just say, what are you people doing? Do you really think you're protecting anybody? You're actually having, the law of unintended consequences. You're actually doing the opposite, where now people are going to be more curious about these books, but because you're kind of made it taboo. And if you just kind of let it be, let the kids make their own decisions. You're not showing them XXX porn. It's Where's Waldo?
I believe in Illinois there's actually a law. I think it's a law now on the books that prevents any banning of books
That's good.
in libraries or schools. Pritzker signed that, I believe,
Okay.
to kind of offset what's going down on the
Yeah.
other
All right.
extreme.
Yeah. Nip it in. Yeah.
Okay, so obviously there are a lot of versions of Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
They banned one because Little Red Riding Hood had in her picnic basket, just some of those things, the top of a bottle that they said looked like a bottle of wine that they said the author was encouraging kids to drink because they said it was a bottle of wine.
And it was phallical.
It totally looked like it looks so penisy. Yeah, it's
It looked like a red penis.
Was the cork still on?
No, it had blown its cork, and that's why it was really weird.
Did it say Boone's Farm on it, or
No, it was
That's
just
a
or
screw
Bartles, or
top.
Bartles and James?
so they had
That's
a
a
picture.
that's a classy bottle.
So
Screw-
as I'm looking through this, they have a picture, and yes, there is definitely a bottle sticking out of this picnic basket. How you could infer that, without a doubt, that it was a bottle of wine?
Wait, was the basket sitting in the wolf's lap?
or was Red Riding Hood sitting in the wolf's lap?
Wait, are you saying bottle of wine in a box?
I'm thinking wolf dick in a box.
Dick in a box.
In a basket.
All right, and this was my favorite one out of all of them. And there's so many ridiculous stories. Okay, you guys ever seen the book? And I've read this to my daughter many, many times. Brown Bear, what do you see?
Yeah, it's been years.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of different things there. Okay, the author of this book is Bill Martin Jr. That's his name, Bill Martin Jr. And he's done a lot of these. And again, I could probably tell you 3 or 4 of the books. I could probably read them by heart. You could start me off and I could finish the whole book. I read them to my kids so many times. Okay. A parent found a book called Ethical Marxism by an author named Bill Martin. Okay. So this parent got up in front of the entire school board somewhere in Florida. Okay. And he said that the author of both the books, Brown Bear, What Do You See, and Ethical Marxism, were the same author. They were not. Completely different people. Again, Bill Martin Jr., this was just Bill Martin. Then he somehow, because he thought they were the same person, made a connection that said the bear was critical of capitalism. He got that because a completely different person wrote a book about Marxism.
And nobody on this board did any vetting on this to see if this lunatic's rantings were accurate?
Zero vetting.
Yeah.
Book banned.
The book was banned.
Book was banned.
When you want to agree with something, you really don't look any further than that.
I suppose.
Yeah, but they had to make a connection that Brown Bear, what do you see? And by the way, everyone who's ever read that be like, I no mention of money in any of this, right? How he could be that? How could he be against capitalism? And they had to let that guy make that connection and then agree with him and then ban that book.
How about Goodnight Moon?
You mean that disgusting pornographic piece of shit? Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's like one of the number one selling children's book of all time.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good name.
How much
we
you
had
want to bet that
wallpaper-
somewhere it's banned?
I'm surprised they don't ban that book Where the Wild Things Are, because there's a lot of monsters in the little kids' room, and that that could
Banned.
be.
Banned.
You mean child molesting monsters?
The kid's in bed, and there's a monster there, and we all know what's going to happen now, so we might as well ban that one too. Fuck
Yeah.
it.
Do you know
fuck it.
the story behind that book, Goodnight Moon? The woman that wrote the author and I think illustrator too, if I'm not mistaken. She wrote that book in like the 20s or 30s, and it was not well received. It was horribly received. Nobody read it, and publication practically stopped on it. And she fell ill, and she was in the hospital, and she was doing better, and one of the nurses came in her room to check on her to see if she was feeling better, and to show her how well she felt, she kicked her leg up into the air, and unbeknownst to her, she was getting blood clots in her legs because she had been in the bed for so long.
Right.
So she was her legs were clotting, and she kicked her leg, and the blood clot, and she immediately died. She immediately died of a blood by kicking her leg to show the nurse, and she died. And then years later, the book became like massive, and I think it's like one of the number one selling kids book of all time. So she died. She thought she failed as an author and everything.
Oh,
she
my
never
God.
lived to hear how.
How do you know that?
It was on how I know everything. Instagram.
Instagram.
Wait, and she never got to hear Morgan Freeman?
Did he read that book?
Oh my God!
Oh, he
yeah.
did. That's right. I did see
Yeah,
that.
didn't he do? He did like a foul mouth version of it. Oh my God! Oh, it's fucking great.
So speaking of Morgan Freeman, like, it's just real
Do
obscure.
not move.
I just this obscure story from years ago. Like, Morgan Freeman got in like a car accident in Mississippi. He's like in a 1985 like Honda Accord or something. That's like, I'm like, why is Morgan Freeman in? He's in some piece of shit.
He was driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah, I guess.
So,
It's just weird, It's Morgan Freeman, man.
quick public service announcement because you're talking about driving and hitting. Our friend Steve Rodney was driving out to Galena a couple days ago. And a deer, when he was on Route 20, after playing 36 holes of golf, the deer ran into the side of his truck, bounced into the windshield, smashed the windshield. Him and his son were in there, and they survived no injuries whatsoever.
Yeah. Scary.
The cop that was on the scene 16 miles later when they got to the hotel, but that's a different story. He told them, because Steve had said he had just had that windshield repaired about 6 months ago. It was cracked for more than a couple years, and that officer told him if that deer hit it with that cracked windshield, all the protection's gone. You probably wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
my
sure.
God.
So anybody that's driving around right now with a cracked windshield, you never know when that deer's going to hit you.
Safe
Go
light.
get it fixed.
Safe
Because
like
it's
glass.
compromised, right?
It's
Structure,
compromised.
yeah.
It wasn't just a
Well, it expands. So when because I got
It
that
was
happen.
cracks. It
yeah,
was
so,
full cracks.
So when you get that little pebble and then the glass
Right.
expands in those spider cracks, just call Safe Light Glass. They'll come out to wherever you are. And
Oh my God, you're doing
it's like about
he's
$500.
you're doing an ad right now.
You're doing an
it.
ad
Yeah.
during my public service announcement,
Yeah.
Ted. I'm offended.
It's sponsored. Hey,
Can you ban
Good,
him?
they're good.
how old do you think Morgan Freeman is?
He's got to be like 80 something plus now.
I'm going to go 86.
He's 93.
Wow.
He
Willie
just-
Mays is 93, and he died yesterday.
Did he really?
Well, maybe
So
I'm
Morgan
thinking of Willie
Freeman's
Mays.
gonna die.
Maybe I'm thinking Willie Mays. No,
So
no, he just but no.
Willie
I,
Mays Hayes?
no, I think Morgan Freeman just turned like 93, like
Yeah.
a day or two ago.
So when Willie Mays died yesterday, and today's my birthday, so I'm 64.
Happy birthday, man.
And I thought to myself, okay, 93. If someone said today you could live to 93, but that's it, we're going to let you live to 93, would
Yeah.
I take it? I said yes.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
That's a good. That's a
Yeah,
good.
as long as the
age.
quality of your life is good, that's all that really
Right.
matters. That's the main thing.
Right.
You don't want those last 10 years to be
Yeah.
fucking miserable. So, but,
No, you know what? That's
I guess he's 87.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Willie
87.
Mays.
Dick Van Dyke just turned he was like on some Golden Globe Award thing. He's like 98, and he was like accepting an award or something. He still looks pretty darn good,
So Willie Mays, everyone knows in the World Series they call it the catch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was his. I think he was. Wasn't that his rookie year or something?
22, I think,
Yeah.
when he made that.
So
catch.
my dad swears that was an amazing catch. It's incredible. What my dad says is, my grandpa actually said this too. We talk about it all the time. That what's even more impressive about it was the throw.
Yes,
he threw
turns
that
around
guy
and
out.
fires it. Yeah.
He threw the guy out, but they never show that. You'll never
they show him release it, and that's
it.
That's
They
it.
show him release it. I mean, come up, release it, and fall to the ground.
Right.
Because he gave it his all. But they swear that he threw that guy out.
Well, what was amazing about that catch, besides that throw portion of it, was the distance he covered in those old parks.
Oh, yeah.
They were forever.
430 some feet, I
And,
think it was.
and it was the distance that he covered to get to that
yeah,
ball.
because he had the speed and he played shallow.
Right.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the over-the-shoulder catch, like the basket catch he made. Yeah, that's iconic. That's one of the best.
Yeah, they showed
catches
that
of all time.
about 30
I know.
times in like 2 minutes on ESPN. They just kept
They
Yeah.
kept showing it over
as
and
they
over
were
and over
talking,
again.
but they never show the
They
end of
probably
that
don't
play.
have footage
Right,
on it,
yeah.
I'm gathering.
Maybe the camera. I don't. They never show the end of that play.
Well, it's funny. Like when someone dies, they're going to show. Like remember, like when who was the coach of the Arizona Cardinals, Dennis Green, when he died.
Yeah.
And then in the clip they played of him was like when the Bears were where they thought they were. He was like slamming the podium,
After
and that was his like.
Urlacher, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my God, that
yeah.
game. Oh my
I remember that game. Arizona
I
versus
watched
Chicago.
that game. It was Sunday night. It
was
was
a
a
great
Sunday night
game.
game.
Yeah.
No, Monday night game.
That was
Yeah, it was Monday night.
Yeah.
So the game was awesome. The press conference
Was better.
was
better.
that
Yeah.
ranks right up there with playoffs.
We have the meltdown. Yeah.
Yeah,
The meltdown.
I mean, when you see a coach, when you can tell this guy's coached his last game, right? When you see a guy who's doing his thing, and you're just like, you can hear him talking, it's like, oh my God, that guy so doesn't have a job tomorrow. It's kind of fun to kind of fun to watch that.
Well, and everybody in
absolute
Minnesota
breakdown.
is going, see?
Well,
that-
Ditka
that's-
in '89 after they lost.
Yeah.
And he goes, "We're never going to win another game," and I think he was accurate in that one.
I
Yeah.
think he was 100% accurate in that one.
Or then I think when they fired Ditka, I remember there was I think there were like death threats against Mike because Mike McCaskey fired him, and because Ditka was so iconic, but they had to get rid of him because he was just too old school. This is he's from a bygone era. But I remember when he got fired, that was like almost like national news. And I think they had to put like police outside Mike McCaskey's home, because not they're going to someone to come and get him, but so who's the guy they fired? Brandon Staley from the Chargers. Like the Chargers played like shit, and so they had him on like he was very defensive. He's like, I'm calling the defensive plays, and then I think like the next game they gave up like 45 points or something.
We're on the air.
Yeah, I want to look
Sorry.
at
Sorry.
What I was going to do is walk over and look at your outline because I don't think we're
did we
following
go
your
to
outline.
Brandon? Yeah.
We're not
yeah.
talking- we're not
well,
talking
what's
sports.
the number one rule? Don't talk about sports, right? I hate talking about sports. I really do. All right, so we need to warn people. It's summertime. We need to warn people. There's a lot of shit going on right now.
Oh, I do have a movie mention.
You do have a movie mention.
What took you so long?
Okay, so let me stop right now.
I just made it up.
So it's not a real movie.
No, it is a real movie.
So you just wrote it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, good enough for
Pete
me.
filled in for me while I was gone.
Okay, so you just got it right off you just wrote down everything you found off of Wikipedia?
No, I had notes, and to be honest with you, I had notes, and I'd lost my notes, and I started my notes on my phone, and then I transponded them on my computer and left the computer at home. So I used what I had, and it's very short.
Okay.
So
all
I
right.
have the basics, but I don't have my written word that I like to say.
Okay,
my
well,
brief synopsis.
that's all right.
In my
So-
own words, Ted.
So you
Improvise.
So you're just
Improvise.
gonna use Wikipedia's words.
No, I said no.
Use Ted's words.
Those are Ted's words.
Okay. Wikipedia. It's gonna be Tedopedia. Okay. It's time for Mark's movie mentions. Mark's movie mentions are for entertainment only, and we do not condone any betting or gambling of any kind on his mentions. All right. Go ahead, Mark. Your movie mentions.
So the movie I want to mention came out in 1993. It's called For Money or Love. Michael J. Fox. You guys ever see it?
Wait. Is that where he starts as like a mail boy for his uncle or something in a?
Close. He's a concierge at a hotel.
Okay, that doesn't sound like anything I just said.
So this is the movie. It's a great movie. So everyone saw Doc Hollywood, right?
Love Doc
Yes.
Hollywood.
So Doc
Oh my
Hollywood
God,
came
love
out in
Doc
91.
Hollywood.
This is like a follow-up to that, but it's a completely different movie, but it's very similar in a lot of ways. He's a different character, but Michael J. Fox is just an amazing actor, and the movie's really great. I mean, so he plays a concierge at a hotel in New York. He's aspiring to build his own hotel and run it. And he's looking for financing. So there's all these, it's a very upscale hotel that he works at. So he knows a lot of millionaires and billionaires. So he's constantly trying to find investors for this idea he has, all the while, all the goings ons of a hotel that a concierge in that day and age would do. Bend over backwards for all the high rollers and everybody, and doing all these little things for people. And that's an interesting part of the movie. And Michael J. Fox is great at that. He's got all that energy. So it came out in 93. It's 96 minutes long. The budget was $30 million. It only made $11 million at the box office, so it didn't do good. But it's a really good movie.
That's hold on before we go. That seems weird because at some point, Michael J. Fox was unbelievably
especially
popular.
after Doc Hollywood.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I mean, Back to the Future.
Well, I know,
Yeah,
but
Back to the
yeah,
Future.
that's what I said, yeah.
Teen Wolf. He was a big. He was
Yeah,
a big star.
he was kind of like
One of
a
the biggest
many
stars.
Tom Cruise,
Yeah, back
right?
in the day.
A funny.
He was like a goofy,
Yeah.
not like a sexy leading man, but he was. He
was a good looking kid though,
yeah.
but very funny.
Yeah.
Well,
Very.
he went from Family Ties to Back
Yeah,
to the
Family
Future in
Ties,
those
yeah.
movies. He was a
hit. Huge hit.
huge.
yeah.
He's still alive. I think he's got like Parkinson's, right? Like he.
Yeah. He's in a
hanging in
bad
there.
way.
He's hanging in
He's
there.
in a bad
Yeah.
way.
So it came out in 93. It was, he was still a star. Doc Hollywood was a good movie, but yeah, Back to the Future and all those movies before that. So I mean, it's like Doc Hollywood because he falls in love. He ends up falling in love with a girl. And it's one of those things. It's like a cat and mouse. He's chasing her, and she's no interest in things, and it all comes together. But I don't want to ruin too much of the movie. But it's For Money or Love, 1993. It's a sleeper. I think I saw that in 93 and never saw it again. And then it came up when I was thinking about it, and I watched it again. And I'm like, God damn, this is a good movie.
Okay.
Where was it? Where did you see it?
Where did I see it? It had to be on, I don't know. It was either Netflix, Prime, or Apple TV.
Yeah.
One of those three.
Yeah, that's all of them, right?
Right.
That's all of them.
Those are the only three I really have access to. So
So-
it's one of those three. I never remember which one it is.
So doesn't he have to at some point kind of compromise himself with someone so that he can get his his money, right? Doesn't he have to, like, somebody tries to cheat him over?
He has to
I don't wanna-
compromise his morals to get financing.
That's a twist that leads to
Okay, yeah,
that
yeah.
leads to that's a twist. Yeah, yes.
Absolutely excellent.
And the girl that he's chasing is someone he's supposed to be looking after, and it has to do with the financer and the money.
yeah, yeah.
So he's got to be hands off with her because then he won't get what he wants, and then it takes a twist, and he ends up and then he knows somebody with like the FBI or something, and then it's good. It's
Yeah,
got
you know
a
what? It's
great
funny.
plot. It's got a great twist, and in the end is fucking awesome.
Yeah, you forget how good Michael J. Fox
Oh,
was.
he's great. I mean, when
Right?
you watch this, you're like, man,
And he did
that's amazing.
So he did a TV show where he was like the assistant mayor or something.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
do remember
I
that. Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a really good show.
That didn't
Where he
last.
kind of, I think it did for a while. He tied it in.
That was a good show.
That was a really
But who
good
was
show.
the mayor in that show?
The mayor was some gray-haired goof, good looking guy who's just was just kind of there
John,
to.
John Larroquette, someone like that.
So exactly, you know what?
or Bill Hurley, or the guy who was on Seinfeld. That kind of guy. He's got the
Exactly.
silver fox
exactly.
hair.
That exact guy.
Yeah, that guy.
He was, like a good-natured. He played a good-natured guy, but he was kind of adult. And Michael J. Fox was the the kind of get things done kind of guy, and make the mayor look good and all that kind
yeah,
of stuff.
yep, I remember that. Yeah.
Spin City.
Spin
City. That's it. That was on for a while.
That
yeah.
was, oh my god,
That's a good. That was a good one. Yeah.
So you know what? I'll tell you what. If you're sitting around doing nothing, just grab a Michael J. Fox movie, because I can't now. I'm thinking in my head.
All his movies are good.
I can't think of any movie that I
Wasn't Brooke
didn't
Shields in that too? Who was the good-looking girl?
It was 6 seasons.
like. No, there was
Phoebe,
another.
Phoebe Cates. She was like kind of like the it girl back in the
Oh,
'90s.
man,
I don't.
she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Oh,
was.
this was way later. This was
I don't
this was
remember.
the 2000s. This
Yeah,
came.
but there was. Oh man, I'm trying to think who it was.
But
Darn
now
it.
they're bringing back all these TV shows from our youth, like
Oh, yeah.
Night Court.
You know what they're on Netflix. You know what's on Netflix right now? And I just watched the original yesterday. Beverly Hills Cop. They just did a remake. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F or Axel.
No, they made a sequel.
It's a sequel. Most of the guys look dead. Honestly,
He's 63.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy. Yeah, Eddie Murphy's like what? He's got to be
all the
almost
all,
70.
they had a bunch of people.
Axel
in it.
Foley. Is it on right now? It's already
I
out.
think it's on right
He
now.
didn't get promoted from detective after all those years. He's still
Yeah,
doing
nope,
the same
still-
thing. Okay.
Still Axel Foley.
So here's what I did. I had to watch Beverly Hills Cop, the original one. I watched it yesterday before before Pete and I went golfing.
I could tell you every line in that movie.
And I will tell
I've
you,
probably
It
seen
holds
it-
up.
I will tell you right now,
It's
holds
a great
up.
movie. Yep.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It really holds
It's
up.
iconic. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is not my locker.
Yeah, Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser.
For the few minutes that he's in it, that's all I want of Paul Reiser. I don't think he's very funny. Paul Reiser has 4 minutes to me. If he's in any movie for more than 4 minutes, it's not funny anymore. It's not good. It's not entertaining. Like when he dies in was it Aliens? You know, when he was the
I don't remember.
shitbag. Wasn't he the shitbag guy in Aliens? When they did it, and Bill Paxton's in there, and they pull the grenade. He's the bad guy trying to get the thing. Yeah, 4 minutes of Paul Reiser. That's all I need. That's it. But yeah, it holds up so well.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Because I want to watch the remake, and I'm going to try as
so
hard
that'd
as
be
I can
number
not
4.
to
I
hate
think
it.
they made 3, and
made
then
it-
this would be the 4th one.
So Cheryl and I are watching. She comes up. She goes, which one is this? I go, and this is so funny, right? Because I had to mess with her. I go, I think this is Beverly Hills Cop 6. She goes, I thought they only made 5. It was awesome. She actually believed that there were 6 Beverly Hills Cops.
Well,
And I still, to this day, can't believe that their first actor was Sylvester Stallone.
Wow.
He had to turn it down.
He turned down the role of Axel Foley.
Yeah, because he won, and then he tried to get the whole thing rewritten to be super violent. It turned basically Cobra.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
we talked
Cobra.
about
It's
this.
Cobra,
Yeah, he turned it down because he wanted it to be way more violent, no funniness at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And basically, he quit that and then made Cobra, which I would say is one of the worst movies of all time.
Well, he met his future wife Bridget Nielsen on the set of that one, so he messed that one up too.
Yeah, so he really,
he has 2 strikes right there.
yeah, he really fucked
Oh,
up.
he met her on Rocky 4.
Oh, whatever.
No, I think they actually made.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Cobra first, and then they made.
Oh, maybe
Rocky
that's how
4.
she got in Rocky 4.
That's how she got in
I
Rocky
did like
4.
I did like the
Or the
car,
other way around.
I did like the car he had in Cobra, with the
yeah.
matte finish, and they had like the little thing. So.
All right, so we got to help people. I said we got to help people before we got to movie mention. Summertime brings a lot of danger. Yeah.
Killer cicadas.
Oh my God.
Heat domes.
I'm so no real actual, not pretend things that they tell you.
It is pretty hot out west right now.
They're
I mean,
gone now.
it
The
is-
cicadas are.
No,
pretty
that's east. That heat wave is now
Oh,
on
really?
the east
Oh,
coast.
okay, yeah.
Okay, hold on a
Northeast.
second. Hold on a second. Every year it gets hot. Every year they say, if you took the news from 5 years ago, and then the news from 4 years ago, and the news from 3 years ago, it's the exact same thing. It gets hot, and then they talk about the people that die, and then they show stupid videos of stupid shit.
Dude,
right?
you're marginalizing this. It's bad.
It's heat.
It's never been like this though.
So is it 1 degree hotter?
It's June. It's like 103 degrees in like Connecticut or something.
Yeah, and I think it's besides the heat, it's the storms that
Yeah.
it's just the seasons are much longer. It definitely is.
So you're saying so you honestly believe that the weather is worse?
Yes.
Of course.
Well, I mean, we did have a pretty mild winter.
What planet are you living on?
Yeah.
Look, when did you make an insurance premium this month? I mean,
In
just
Florida, yeah.
no, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You
It
can't get
affects-
insurance in Florida, so you
No,
can't. You're
no,
not
that's
making.
right.
It's
yeah.
5 times the national average in Florida, by the way, if you get insurance. If you try to,
That's-
if you can even get the
That's
insurance.
Ron DeSantis' fault.
Yeah.
He allowed that to happen. He allowed all the stops that insurance companies can't do to fuck people over so that they can actually get insurance. He canceled all of them. Him and his asshole buddies did all of that. The reason that they can't get insurance in that state is Ron DeSantis' fault. Okay? He got rid of all of it.
Okay, well, hopefully the state offers their own insurance to them
Well,
as a substitute.
they'll end up paying. The state will end up paying.
Yeah.
As cute as Ron DeSantis thought it was to allow the insurance companies to do whatever the fuck they want and stop giving insurance to people, yeah, it's just going to cost the state all that money. That's why no other states. That's why very few other states have this problem.
Right.
Okay, but you honestly believe the weather is worse now?
Well, I think it's just more extreme. It's not worse. It's just more extreme, and it's you know
There's
I mean
more
it's
frequent.
it's incremental. Yeah, it's not like a big difference, but yeah, it is incremental. Like, well, look at our past winter here in Chicago. That's unprecedented. I mean, it was like basically 50 degrees in February, which is like never
But
60
the-
degrees. That never happens here.
But the bad weather occurrences throughout the country affect all people that have insurance. And so because there's so much damage much more frequently than it's been, it affects everybody's rate. So Florida is its own problem. But even here in Illinois, it's you get a hailstorm and you have roof damage. That raises rates for everybody. Or in South Carolina, you have flooding or hurricanes. It's all that stuff is
All the
compounded,
fires, yeah, all the-
and insurance companies are in to make money. So if they're paying out more claims, you as the person that's buying insurance, it's going to cost you more,
It's funny. I mean,
even if you don't have a claim.
So on a side note, I just renewed some insurance on a property of mine. Last year the premium was $900. This year they wanted to charge me $18. So I talked to my broker and I actually raised my deductible and got rid of a couple of coverages to lower it. But it basically doubled. And my broker was saying, "Oh, it's inflation." I said, "Well, not 100% inflation, like maybe 20%, but not 100%. I never filed a claim." But I know what you mean.
But there is inflation factors too, because the
Yeah.
cost of materials and whatnot for homes are.
But the people
through the
who
roof.
are not filing claims are still being collectively quote unquote punished along with the people who are filing claims because, like I said, insurance companies are losing money, so they have to charge everybody more
Right.
to maintain.
Can
keep
we
their
help people?
stockholders happy.
We need to help people.
Okay.
Oh, help them right now, yes.
Okay,
Right.
we need to help people.
Well, the people you wouldn't help, they're dead already because it's just taking like forever. So
Listen, you guys are talking. Listen. I didn't want to turn this into the ins and outs.
let's help some more
of
people.
insurance.
Let's help different people now because the people you were originally going to help are gone. We can't help those anymore.
Let's help. Let's help real people. Okay. I want to talk about summer injuries
Okay.
because there are injuries that are specific.
Firework related. You going to get to that one?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about real, actual summer injuries, and I want to talk about the 3 deadliest fruits in the world.
All right.
Yeah, avocados, watermelons, and limes.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's that?
What about coconuts?
Nope.
Coconuts kill 2 people a year, I think.
Nope. Avocado. The 3 most dangerous summer fruits are avocado, watermelon, and
I
lime.
just had an avocado the other day. Am I going to be all right?
I have no idea. Do you have all your fingers?
So far.
Okay, so there's something called avocado hand. Yeah, avocado hand. The American Journal of Emergency Medicine found that avocado-related knife injuries have become, are you ready for this, an epidemic in the world of hand injuries. How do you do your avocados?
I ordered pre-sliced on a BLT, so I don't have to cut it.
Hold
So I
on.
don't have to
You know what?
cut it.
What are those stupid
'Cause I'm not a
questions?
I'm not a chef.
That was stupid.
Not a
because
chef.
Ted has never ever cooked anything. Honestly.
And I'm not in the emergency room either.
Okay, Mark. When
So
you,
we eat a lot of avocados. I
Right.
constantly have at least half a dozen in the house.
it's one of the most.
Kelly has one. So this is the way my wife does it. She has one of those avocado knives. Have you ever seen them?
That's
No, what's an avocado knife?
It's the color of an avocado, and it's got.
So
It is.
It's green.
So it's got a little bit of a curvature to it, and then one side is really jagged, like serrated. but
Serrated, okay.
Like massive, like teeth, and then the other side is smooth. She uses that. I use a butter knife. I'm not going to cut myself with a butter knife.
Okay, so when you're getting the pit out,
That's
and this is
I use a spoon.
this
I
is
used
about
a spoon.
75%
I
of,
know.
of the problem.
That's because all the chefs do it on the shows.
Right.
Everyone's- And,
So they hit the seed with a knife, right?
Yep.
And then they twist it,
and then you got it gets stuck on the knife.
right? And then you
they
twist it out. Okay? So here's what really happens in real life. When you're not a professional chef,
Yeah.
as you hit that thing, it slides right off, okay?
Yep.
And it cuts either your fingers off or it cuts your wrist or your hand. This is, I'm telling you, avocado
Believe
hand
it.
is one of the biggest injuries between, are you ready for this? April and August. Between April and August, more people injure their hands doing that stupid ass knife thing than in any other way is there a hand
I could
injury.
see it happening because I've done it before, and it's stupid.
Ted, the solution to that is just put on a hockey glove and hold the avocado.
Exactly.
And even if you slip, you're still going to cut
Or
through
find a
it.
beaver and just gnaw it out.
So that's why the avocado.
Use a spoon.
That's why that's
a
what I
spoon.
do. I use a
Literally,
butter knife and a
Scoop
spoon.
it out.
Yeah, literally use a spoon.
But
that is
that
what the-
avocado knife. You're not going to do that with that knife.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never heard of an avocado
We've had it
knife.
for years. I don't know where she got
I
it.
don't know. Somewhere in my house,
Pampered chef or something.
yeah, somewhere in my house, I have an avocado holder, which is the shape of half an avocado. So if you use an avocado, you put it's like a little Tupperware thing.
yeah.
That's half an avocado. They scam us on so.
That's a pampered
many
chef
things.
thing,
Yeah,
too.
absolutely a pampered chef thing. Okay, the second most dangerous one is watermelon. Okay, and they call it watermelon cuts. Watermelon wounds tend to occur when using a carving knife or something extraordinarily sharp.
Like a Ginsu knife. Yeah.
Right. And they hold on to the watermelon and they strike down very hard on the watermelon. The rind is very hard and
Yeah.
it tends to bounce off. And because you have that force, it tends to go immediately right at the hand holding the watermelon. Or someone else's hand, which I thought was very funny because they said watermelons are big, and sometimes you can have two people holding the watermelon, and someone will hit that at an angle, and it will bounce off and immediately go right at somebody else's
Now,
arm.
see, I would use a vise to hold the watermelon, and then use the hedge trimmer, and just cut it right in half.
God, you just don't. You would just go buy 5 slices of watermelon, Ted, at the store. There is no doubt.
And I wouldn't have an ER copay either. So let's keep that in mind.
Pete, are you a watermelon guy?
Love watermelon. I thought it might be a back injury if you're not lifting with your knees. That's what I wasn't even thinking of the hand. I was thinking of back.
Tighten your core.
But I do love watermelon.
Yeah, I absolutely hate watermelon.
Really?
Oh my God! You're the first person I ever met that said that. I love watermelon.
I mean, I'll eat it, but I won't like go out of my way or have to like be there at like a
Well, you don't wanna cut
picnic
your
or something.
hand.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Oh no, I hate watermelon. But here's
it's a diuretic.
just to help. What?
It's a diuretic.
Coffee's a diuretic. How is watermelon a Wait, watermelon makes you pee?
It's all water. I mean, yeah,
well, doesn't
totally.
doesn't diuretic like absorb water? I thought diuretic's the
I
opposite.
thought a
Like,
diuretic makes you pee.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think.
no, I thought it
flushes-
dehydrates you. I thought a diuretic
Why
dehydrates
is coffee
you.
not a diuretic?
Maybe I don't
Yeah,
have the
it
right
makes you
definition.
pee.
Well, never
All
mind.
right, whatever. Okay, so if you're cutting a watermelon, stop doing it any way you're doing it. Grab a good-sized bread knife with a serrated edge
That's what I use.
and saw through it rather than hack through it.
That's exactly
Yeah,
what I
saw
use.
through
yeah.
it rather than hack through it. Okay, and again,
It's scary when you use like a big butcher knife on a watermelon.
And you slip.
I've
Yeah.
scared. I've never. Yeah.
I'm telling you, watermelon
Bread
cuts. people. These are people that are going in.
I got to go
during
home
the summer.
and talk to my teenagers about this.
Yeah, going
Sounds
in.
painful.
So this is the emergency room stuff. They're talking about all the emergency room stuff that happens again. The 3 most dangerous.
So what about the limes?
Okay, so this one is beyond my
They're,
ability.
lime-
they're
li-
slippery. Those
Well, the
rinds,
skin-
those rinds are
skins
slippery.
of limes
Yeah.
are incredibly tough. Can't put them in the garbage disposal.
What? Yes, you can.
Shit.
What the fuck are you talking about? I put limes in my garbage disposal all the time.
Isn't a lemon the same as a lime? I cut a
Well,
lemon.
limes,
I cut up a lemon the other day.
Yeah.
lime rind
You're
is,
absolutely.
Oh,
no.
yeah, you're
So
right.
it is-
soft.
the cutting has nothing to do with it. Are you ready? It's burns. Yeah, it's burns. I had no idea this could happen, and this is as real as fuck. Look it up. You can stop the show right now and get on Google and look it up. Pete's going to look it up. You ready?
burns your skin.
Yes. So here's what happens. You get the lime juice, and it goes with a lot of citric fruits, but limes in the summer, again, these are summer things, right? You get it on your skin. If you go out into the sun with lime juice on your body, and you go right out into the direct sunlight, you can get 2nd and 3rd degree burns. And I'm not even messing with you. This, again, the emergency room people are telling this, are
That's
putting this
crazy.
together. You can get 2nd and 3rd degree burns from having lime juice on you and going out into the sun, direct sunlight.
Margarita burn is there's a name
Margarita
for it.
burn.
Margarita burn
Yep.
is a skin reaction that occurs when lime juice makes contact with the skin and is exposed to sunlight.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. It is that dangerous.
I still can't get over the fact that you put limes in your garbage disposal and you think it's not a big deal.
I have a good solid
So
half
do I, but it's
horsepower
still-
garbage disposal.
So do I, but it still takes like 10 minutes for it to fucking.
Well, you don't know. You just run it a little bit, and then the smell gets rid of the
that's
nasty
what we do.
stuff.
We do that with lemons, not limes.
How is that different?
A lemon is like soft; it just goes right through the garbage disposal. A lime will sit in there forever.
I use my garbage disposal more than once a day. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you do at your house.
I don't think you use limes. I think you don't know what you're talking about.
So you're saying I'm full of shit?
Yeah, I think you. Yeah. I want to go see you do one right now.
Oh, you know what? Here's exactly what's
And
going to
you're
happen.
going to be like, why did I just put that in the garbage?
I don't want to get margarita burn. I don't want to see this. Okay. Oh, it's dark.
No,
Okay.
here's exactly what's going to happen. We got one last thing. One last thing we're going to talk about. We're going to set the show up, and then we're going to go upstairs, and I have 2 limes.
Okay.
I'm going to cut them in half. I'm going to throw them in the garbage disposal, and we're going to do this.
Okay.
This shit's going to happen.
All right.
If it gets all over us, it's dark out right now, right? It's nighttime. Yeah, almost 9 o'clock Chicago time at night. We'll be safe.
Okay.
So we can do it in a safe way. Okay. This is important to me because as a school teacher, I did this a lot of times. When you guys were in school, did you guys go on field trips?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yes.
Big,
When my mom could afford the $3 fee, I went. I didn't have to sit behind in the classrooms.
Why do I
Right,
feel
there's always
like
that one kid that sat
why do I
behind,
feel
right?
like
I mean,
your field trips, you're like your mom set up like side field trips to like strip clubs and like I don't know,
Well,
like homeless shelters.
well, I mean, there's probably
and-
that one kid who was like a Jehovah's Witness, so he couldn't go to field trips, right? Or they couldn't celebrate birthdays. They couldn't go to Lincoln Park Zoo, right?
No, the Jehovah's Witnesses couldn't do part. So listen.
They went
so,
on field trips.
So at my school, we almost canceled like birthday celebrations and holiday celebrations because we had 2 kids, a brother and a sister, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Send the little bastards home.
that couldn't do it,
Yeah.
and the mom was insane.
Obviously.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
just could not handle that
Happy
anyone
birthday
else.
to-
Anyone else
Would she
could
start
do that
melting
stuff.
like the Wicked Witch of the West, like when you poured water on her? She goes, "I'm melting."
Yeah, she was, and she was one of those people that just was involved and just did everything she could to cancel the fun for everyone else because she picked a religion that was zero fun.
We had twins in my grammar school, a boy and a girl twins, and they were Jehovah's Witness. And we had a math teacher, Mr. McCann, and he was big Irish guy.
Do they dress like the Amish?
And he used to throw on St. Patrick's Day, or if it wasn't during the week, he would have one leading up to it. And his classroom was just shut down, and he was a strict teacher, math teacher. But that one day he did ice cream and music blasting the whole time. It was a party.
Irish car bombs.
He said,
Jameson and Guinness. Yeah, that's for
Every
him.
time a kid got a question right, he was doing shots.
but those two, They had to sit out in the hallway.
That's
boy.
awesome. Good. Let
Out in
'em.
the hallway.
Yeah.
Out in the hallway.
Yeah.
Because your mom ain't coming down here. So we're not canceling. You're not participating. And when we had any type of birthday thing, go out in the hallway.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that was a public school. They just sent them out in the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we did, and that's where
And
it
they're
got
good
started.
kids. And I got.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt bad.
Right.
I'm like,
Dude, try being a teacher.
Wait, well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why couldn't the kids just like say, "I want to participate. I'm not going to tell my mom."
I think once you're indoctrinated, you're indoctrinated.
And they had to save energy to knock on your door.
and hand you a pamphlet.
Yeah.
you know, Prince was a
Sir?
Jehovah's Witness.
And he's
Yes.
dead. Now he's
actually,
dead.
He actually went in people's homes.
Wow.
He did that door-to-door thing.
Okay, so he would be. Listen,
Prince did.
I'm going to tell you right now.
I'd let them in.
Well, he's
Yeah,
Prince. He's
fuck
Prince.
yeah.
You know, I mean, he's got to
Well,
let the guy
everybody
in.
did. Everybody let him in.
Of course, you can let Prince in.
Yeah, and you know what the first thing I would say is, do the Jehovah Witnesses have any kick-ass songs about being Jehovah Witnesses? Because I would like to. Yeah, I would like
What's that
to.
song, that Nicki song you did?
I knew a girl named Nikki. She was a Jehovah Witness. Yeah, dude, that would be. Oh my God. Yeah, instead of two dorks. Like, you ever see it's like the two dorks dressed like however. You're like, I'd like to tell you about my version of God. And I'm like, well, you know what? And this is my favorite thing I ever did. You know what? I love Satan. And I would like to compare your thing and my thing. So come on in and we can do this. I go, I have lemonade. And the two guys, it was my favorite thing. The two guys literally took a step back and said, no, thank you. And walked away. And I was like, I win. Because
have
my house
Kool-Aid.
is on the list now.
Yeah.
Yeah, my house is on the list. Okay, but you went on field trips. Pete, what was your favorite field trip?
It was at the end of the year going to what is now Pine Meadows. It was
Golf course?
yes, it was. Well, it was a golf course, and it was a seminarium, and so we'd go there through St. Genevieve, and they had baseball diamonds, and you get on a school bus and you travel 40 minutes, and that was it.
Yeah, because 40 minutes outside Chicago is
It was
like
a big
rural.
deal. Yeah, you moon other buses going by you, and
Or flipping them off,
Yeah,
right? The
whatever.
car's going by,
Yeah.
you're in the back of the bus, and you're flipping them
right,
off.
because the parents that were chaperones were always in the front,
Yeah.
looking ahead.
Yeah.
So
Dummies.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that school bus was pretty long. You can get away with it's
You
like
get
a, it's like a,
away
it's
with
like
a
a
lot of
different it's like a
stuff.
different world at the back
Yeah.
of the school bus.
Yeah, where
you got the
you
back
would
window.
mouth,
You got the back window all to yourself, and you can just go like at the back window and just kind of stare.
Yeah,
Well-
you see some guy in like in like an 80s Ford Fairmont, and you just mouth, fuck you, suck my dick. And the guy be like, I'm going to, and you could hear him. He roll down the window, and he'd be screaming, I'm going to stop that bus. I'm like, go ahead, motherfucker. I don't want to go there. Wherever we're going, I don't want to go.
Well, that field trip was also like 3 days before summer vacation started. So imagine being 10 or 12 years old and having that facing you.
Yeah, well, the main thing is you don't even care. You know what the favorite place is? You don't care. You just know you're not going to be in the classroom that day. You
Right.
get on the bus. You're going to go to the
Right.
zoo. You don't have to. You got a little freedom. You get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things is we would put together these things, right? And I had a couple of teachers that I taught with that didn't have kids, right? So they never got the concept of kid, right? And they had, I remember one woman I taught with, she would tell all the 7th and 8th graders when I was teaching the older kids, she's like, high school's the worst thing ever. It literally, and then she would tell her horror stories of how she was.
Because she had a bad
Right,
experience.
because she had a terrible experience. I have no idea what horrible thing. Well, I do. She told everybody all these horrible things, right? And she would, and I would do one of these things. I would do like this. And so after they come to my class, I'd be like this. I go, all that shit that she told you was just absolute lie. I go, high school's a lot of fun. You're gonna meet friends forever. You're gonna have a good time. I go, yeah, some people are gonna be shitty. I go, but just relax. Don't worry about it. Try to just move on. I go, here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to dwell on it 25 years later. Okay? You don't want to be
Avoid those circumstances.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I go, yeah. I go, here's what I want you to do. Remember the good stuff. Forget all the shitty stuff. I go, make 2 or 3 good friends. If you make 10 or 12 good friends, that's cool too. I go, but it's not that bad. Okay? So here's the thing about field trips. What do you think the most important part? Well, like if you were a teacher, okay, if you were in charge of the field trip, okay, ready? What's the most important thing any field trip has?
Don't lose the kid. Head count
Okay.
as an adult.
Buddy
like that.
system.
Okay, all right. You guys agree? Most important part
Yeah.
would be bringing back all the children.
26 kids went on this field trip. 23 came back.
And you would not believe.
I don't know
You
what
would not believe how many times that we did like 100 kid field trips. Okay,
That's a lot of
no
kids.
lie, right? Where you had like multiple buses, right?
I know they all look like all the kids were in the group together. They all look the same, right?
Well, you didn't even worry about that.
like the max.
Here's the funny thing. So every bus, so one person would be in charge, okay, and a lot of times it was me, right? Where there would be like 3 people on the buses, and I would be the guy who walked in the bus, and I would go up to the teacher and say, "Do you have all 27 people?" And they would count 27. Okay, I go up to the next bus, and I got a little written down. Do you have all 26 kids? And the woman would say, "Yeah." And I go to the last bus, and it never failed. Last bus, every fucking time. Do you have all 27 kids? I only counted 26. And I'd be like, God damn it. There's no way we're going to find a kid in the Museum of Science industry. We're fucked. I said, could you count again? She goes, I already counted twice. I said, let's count again. And then we'd go through. Thank God, all the kids were there. And then we would
Just ask who's missing.
raise your hand if you're not here, right? It was that simple, okay? So here's the problem.
Well, the kids know if someone's missing.
Right, and everybody did have a buddy. It was a very simple system.
Right.
You're right, absolutely.
Buddy system,
If there was 2s or 3s, okay? So a couple of teachers in Cape Cod got fired for doing that one thing that you can't do on a field trip. They left 2 kids where they were. Yeah, they left 2 kids where they were, okay?
And where'd they leave them?
It was a high school thing.
The cemetery.
And these kids were getting together, and it was a place for them to get. It was especially designed for the kids that couldn't afford all the stuff for prom. So it was a pretty cool field trip. They got sponsored, and they went to these places, and they were able to, and very inexpensively or not at all, get dresses, shoes, shirts for the boys. Nice suits and stuff, and all that kind of stuff, right? So they could look good for prom. I thought it was a really cool thing, right?
Yeah.
So the teachers from Cape Cod, they went to Boston, got this stuff. I've never heard of this, but as soon as I read it a couple days ago, I thought that's pretty cool because one of the things that if you didn't have any dough, you really couldn't go to prom at this point, right? I mean, there's a certain amount of money that goes along with going
Well,
to prom.
it's weird now
I thought it was
because
just getting the date was the hardest part.
no, all the boys are like my son rented a tuxedo. I didn't wear a tux to prom.
We did.
You did?
Yeah.
They were all wearing tuxedos and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't wear a tux.
Yeah.
I don't remember if we rented anything.
We had to rent a tux.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Not for homecoming, for prom.
Yeah, no. For prom, there was a few kids that wore tuxedos, but not the majority for sure.
I don't remember it. Okay, but so they did this thing, and I thought it was really fucking cool. Honestly, I thought it was really cool. So some of the kids that couldn't afford it, they did it.
Except the ones that got lost.
So it was funny to me because this is the exact thing I remember. I was maybe 2 years as a teacher, so I'm about 31, okay, 32. And we go to have our first field trip. And I remember my principal at the time says, he goes, you have 3 jobs. I said, okay. He goes, number 1, make sure none of the students kill anyone. And I'm 2 years into this, and my principal was a younger guy, right? I was like, oh, okay. He goes, number 2, make sure no one gets killed. And I was like, is this? And I'm thinking to myself, is this real? Right? He's saying this. He goes, 3rd, make sure everybody comes back. And he goes, one of those is way more important than all the other ones. And it was the funniest thing.
Dead or alive, make sure they come back.
It was just
Dead or alive,
yeah.
you're coming with me.
It was just being dramatic with the first 2.
I'm
to
not
make
sure.
make the 3rd point.
Ted, based on the things I've seen, I'm not 100% sure that he didn't mean exactly what he said. Okay? That those 3 things were the most important things told, and they were told to me exactly like that. Nobody kills anybody. Nobody gets killed. Everybody comes back. So these 2 teachers, they left 2 people there, okay? And everybody found out, and so they had a meeting, right? And they said, all right, you have to get fired, right? Fair or not fair? You tell me.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, well, where'd they leave them? I mean, these are high school kids?
So these are Cape Cod teachers.
Yeah.
They left them in Boston.
Which is, how far is Cape Cod from Boston? Probably.
A decent amount.
How old were the kids?
They're high school kids.
They don't have cell phones. I don't know. I mean, if they were like
They got left.
If they were like 8-year-olds,
Once again.
it's bad. So, well, isn't there like a union? Isn't there like a union for due process?
8-year-olds. This is
8-year-olds?
prom.
Exactly.
What are we talking about?
I don't
Prom?
understand what's going on here.
They left.
I know.
Ted?
I mean, but Ted. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying if they're okay.
You're looking for.
It's bad
You're
that they
putting
left
it on the kids now.
No, but I'm saying it's bad. But if you got like a 15, 16-year-old, you could formulate shit when you can figure shit out. It's not
Yeah,
like
but it's the adult's job to make
still
sure it
have-
doesn't happen.
You have to have a system in place, a
Yeah.
buddy system.
Yeah, they
a
fucked
head-
up. They fucked
So I
up.
think what Ted is
They
saying is,
fucked up.
why did the kids leave their backpack there so the teachers could pour water
Exactly, yeah.
into
That's exactly
their
what he's doing.
bags?
Make sure your cell phone bill's paid up.
Okay,
Anyway.
so the teachers got fired.
Okay.
They should get fired.
I need more
Or
information.
maybe suspended. I don't know.
Suspended. Suspended's good.
It's probably not their first time. I'm
It's
guessing.
not their first time they did it.
Oh.
It's not their not that they left not that they left anybody. It was the first time they've ever left anybody. But they were left, and Cape Cod is quite a ways away from
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah.
It was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, sure.
So they said that they were fired. That was it.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
So the teachers stood up for him. Or the parents stood up for him and said, "Hey, whatever."
For the
right?
yeah.
And then all a bunch of parents had stood up for him, and then so they asked a simple question. He goes, "What if it was your kid that was left?" And to a T, each of the parents went, "Oh, they would absolutely be fired."
Yeah.
I would tell them to be
As long as
fired.
it's not my kid came back, so I don't know what you're talking about. I don't really care. Fuck those kids.
I know. So that's the funniest part. That's the part that
Yeah.
absolutely blew me away. So all the people are there, and it was covered by the media and everything, right? So as the parents are walking out,
bad publicity too.
as
Obviously,
the parents were walking out, they asked. They said, "What if it was your kid?" I said, "Oh, if it was my kid, yeah, I'd want him fired immediately."
Let me ask you a question. If you were a teacher, Matt, but let's assume that the four of us are teachers right now. We have the responsibility of these kids on a field trip, and we leave the two kids there, and we get back and we realize it. What do you think's going to happen? Do you expect to get fired?
I would expect to get fired.
I would expect to get fired.
I would expect to get fired.
You would make a strong point not to leave anybody behind. Why? Because you'll probably get fucking fired.
Right.
I would think that would
And
be.
that's probably that's probably what's weighing heavy on your mind. Is the only way I could fuck this up is if I left somebody behind.
that's a fireable offense. Yeah, that's a one
Yeah,
time.
I mean, that's what I'm
even,
saying.
Even if they have
anybody in their right mind would think.
even if they have a good history, like a good teaching history with no prior disciplinary issues, yeah, that's a fireable
no, I
because
mean,
you can't do that.
A kid falls and gets hurt there, you're not going to get fired.
I would still be anxious to hear what how it happened, what their reasoning was, what their excuse was, how they were left behind. Did they not do a head count? Did the article explain that?
It did not, and I did a deep dive, and I could not find any of it. And the only thing that I did find, as I looked deeper into to different articles, is that the two teachers that got fired, their defense was there was somebody else there, and they didn't notice it either.
Oh, okay.
All right.
it's the bus driver's fault.
Yeah,
So
well, that's-
No, it's the bus
it's
driver's
three
fault.
blind mice.
That's-
The guy, the
it's-
poor set making 15
Yeah,
an hour.
right.
Now they're pointing
It's three.
fingers.
It's three blind.
Right.
It's three blind mice instead of two blind mice. Okay, that makes it all better. Okay.
The guy that failed math, that's why he's driving the bus. It's his fault, right? So here's the second question. Now the four of us are now principals, and these two jamokes are applying for a job, and it says on the resume, "Oh, we left two kids behind and got fired from the last job. Do you hire them?
You know
So
what?
are you ever going to hire it again?
You know what? No,
no,
I
no,
just don't
no-
put him in charge of.
No
I just
child.
don't
No,
put him in
yeah,
no
charge of
child.
field
No
trip.
child left behind. Is that?
Oh my God!
actually,
that's the funniest thing Ted has ever said.
actually, some children. Actually, some children are left behind. It's okay. Yeah, some children
Oh my God!
are going to be left behind. You know.
There is no doubt in my mind. That's the funniest. I can't believe I didn't come up with that. That's the funniest thing you've ever said in your life. No child left behind, and they were left behind. Holy shit!
Well, they got a story to tell. You know.
Well, I'm going to hire you, Matt. I'm going to hire you guys, but field trips for you.
Yeah, no field trips for you. I feel like that's it. Just
On field trip day, you're working in the cafeteria.
yeah.
You're serving food.
Yeah, I don't know, man. When I saw that, again, as a teacher, there's just certain things that you see and you hear that just absolutely blow your mind. And leaving without all the kids is just beyond my ability.
And knowing
to
you
fathom.
as a principal, you would hire them under certain conditions. Condition number 1, you cannot go on any field trips. Okay, fine. Condition number 2, we get to use this and weaponize what happened to you all the time. You're the butt of every fucking joke in this school. Every fucking time we're in the teacher's lounge, you're open game, and you can't do anything about it.
You have to be the butt of the jokes.
Every joke, it's open. It's open season on YouTube.
So if we order lunch in for everybody, okay, and they forget to bring the buns,
There it is.
I just
It's
you know
your
what,
fault.
Who
Tina, Dino, did you guys order this food? Yeah, they forgot the buns. I just figured you guys did it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, that would be. Oh my god,
You'd almost hire him just for that.
could you imagine how awesome that would be if you put that caveat in there that you could shitbag them every single time it applied? Not you couldn't just
Right.
shitbag them. It had to apply to forgetting
Their
something.
malfeasance, yeah.
Oh my god, that would be the greatest thing of. You know what? I would absolutely hire them if I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I would be the worst.
They
Principal
would
of
jump
all
ahead
time.
over like super qualified candidates just because for
Yeah.
the fun factor.
just for the fun factor.
School day's a long day. You got to
Yes,
laugh.
absolutely. And you can't get away with that shit otherwise.
Where are the napkins?
Can't single out.
Oh man. Uh-oh. I know who was supposed to bring the napkins. Oh my god. That would be so
I mean, everything like assemblies, all that shit, anything going on. We got this. Get away.
Oh man.
Don't want you to fuck this up again. You know what happened at your last job?
Oh my god. Dude. It would you know what? Any job I now want to be you know what? I want to
Or
continue
you
to
could,
work.
you could walk into the classroom when they're teaching, like, kids, did you guys hear what happened at his last job? Well, I'm kidding. We're not going to go there, but maybe you'll hear about it sometime. Maybe you can look it up on the internet.
Captain
There's a reason-
Captain Amnesia forgot a kid.
Or you walk in and say, hey, ever wonder why
Oh,
Mr.
boy.
Mr. Johnson doesn't go on field trips with you guys? Think about it.
Oh my god. That would be so
That'd be
awesome.
awesome.
Wait, I'm going to tell you a story about Mr. Johnson. Did you say Johnson? No, I said Johnson. Okay, this is a funny story. Oh my god, that would be man, you know what? I'm so glad I've never been in charge of anyone over the age of what, 14? Yeah.
Ted, how old are you?
54.
I'm not in charge of Ted. If I was in charge of Ted, honestly, if I was in charge of Ted, would he say half the shit he would say? Yeah. Would he tell what was your tip today to tell her that you have she has a mental illness?
Yeah.
She has undiagnosed mental illness, and she has a golden shower fetish.
Yeah.
And the water represents
Pete,
urine.
if I was in charge of anything, do you think that would be said?
That was one in
Maybe
the
the
same.
first. Maybe the first part. The
Yeah.
first part was good.
Yeah, a mental illness.
No,
I mean,
it wasn't. That was the mental illness.
Yeah, the mental illness is that. And remember, and keep this in mind, I'm not fucking with you. I'm sending this show to her with the caveat that we have the perfect excuse for her. I'm sending it to her. A link to
I
this
hope she goes with mine. The bag was thirsty.
every single day until someone says, stop sending this.
No, wait. Mine was the bag is thirsty, but it was also who the fuck? What
was-
bag?
it was
What
asking
tote
for
bag
it.
keeps drinking my fucking water?
Right.
No,
That's
you know
what it was.
the tote bag had it coming.
She has so many options.
Thirsty
But,
tote bag.
yeah, until I get a cease and
It
desist.
was so needy.
Oh, and she ruined the tote bag, so she bought him a new one.
she that's,
It's
no,
it's
she did not
it's
do that.
plastic. It's lined, and it's
like
got
a
a.
It's like a spo-
it's
it's
like the cola you have in your
Yes.
golf
Yeah.
bag.
Yes,
Oh man.
Can you put a bunch of Bounty quicker picker upper
and it says
in there to
and it's
absorb
got
the
like
water?
a glass of water with
Since
like
you knew it was
X'd out like
since you
no
knew,
water.
Since you knew it was coming.
See?
Since it happened every day for 3 months.
I'm telling you, man. She's going to get this until I get a cease and desist. Until
She's gonna give him a diaper
yeah,
bag.
the state of Vermont threatens me. Okay, or she comes up with a better excuse. But it would be great if she's just like, I would like to announce that I do have the reason that this was a mental illness. And then when she says golden showers, in any way, when she uses that phrase in any way, I will literally lay on the floor for a half hour and be catatonic. I will not be able to respond in any way to this.
Well, that means we arrived.
Yeah.
There's one subject I thought you would talk about today, but use it for next week. I forgot what state it was, but they just made it in the law that the 10 Commandments have to be posted in every school, every public school within the state.
I'm guessing Texas or Florida.
No, it
I
wasn't
think
either.
it's
Oh,
Mississippi.
no, was that
or-
Sarah Huckabee Sanders, right? Is that
Was
Arkansas?
it
Arkansas.
Arkansas? Maybe
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
Arkansas.
Yeah, I think it was Sarah Huckabee
And you know
Sanders.
who's
that
all
won't,
over? You
that
know,
won't be challenged.
you know who's all over this?
Who's that?
The satanic.
Oh, the yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh,
They're-
everybody's
so
gonna
I
be all
follow
over
them online. The satanic temple.
Good guess, by the way.
Oh, man, that was
dude,
the best.
those two, Dex and Shalice, were awesome. But if you follow them, man, they are anytime anything.
He was just on the news again.
yeah, anything religious goes on, they immediately go to that place and force the satanic stuff.
Dude, they're doing a lot
into
of
there.
work on our behalf.
They are.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're
No, they
doing
really are.
they're doing a ton of rights stuff. Absolutely. They are on
They're
top
doing
of it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It is really cool that they're opening people's eyes.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Yeah. All right. We got to put this thing to bed. Holy crap. Yeah, because we got to get to the bar.
You
I'm
talked
not
a
putting
lot.
Ted to bed. He's 54.
You talked a lot. Well, you can lead me to the bed, Mark, but I might not lay down in it.
Oh God.
You might have to wrestle me down to the bed.
Mark, greatest thing that ever happened in the golf trip to Andy's thing, that Jackson was my roommate and Ted was just a guy in a room down the hall. And when you heard the screams and the he's hurting me, and it was Ted saying it, and there was nobody else in the room except Ted. You're so glad it wasn't you. All right. Let's not leave Pete out to do it first. Teddy, last thoughts.
I just came up with a new invention: a tote bag with a zipper on top and a little padlock to prevent future unwanted waterings. It's genius.
Is it called
It's going to be on
Vermont?
Shark. It's going to be on Shark Tank.
It's called the Vermont. I like it. All right, Mark, last
A
thoughts.
new segment, Ted's. Victim or victimized?
Well, he's gonna go. He's gonna go
ta-
victim.
Yeah. Well, he takes the victim and turns them
To the
into.
victim.
Yeah.
Can't figure out why this is happening.
You're like that my buddy that I will never go to a Cubs game again with.
This
who
is day-
threw a hot dog on somebody,
This is-
ruined the guy's day, and then somehow that guy's the asshole.
This is day 61
Wait,
of
is
this happening again.
Is this Don?
No. No, Don would never go to a Cubs game.
Oh, thank God. All right, last thought. That was it?
Yeah.
That was it? Oh, that Ted turns. Okay. Pete?
It's it's everything I imagined. And just I'm going to give you a Pete's tip. You might want to put a sheet on that couch after the show, so when Ted's taking his nap as you're cleaning things up, it'll save the life of your couch.
You're right.
Oh, my God.
That's
It's a
Pete's tip.
It's a greasy bastard.
I'm going to lay on that couch and
He does.
slather all over it.
Pete, listen, he literally walks over there. He gets on his phone. He puts his feet up. And we do our thing. And I look over and I'm just like, man, this is the day.
Look at him. That shirt was navy blue when he walked in.
It had a logo on it.
Oh, man.
It's almost white.
Yeah, Ted with his sweatpants shirt, his sweatpants shorts, sweatpants shoes. Wait, are you wearing shoes today?
I'm wearing flip-flops today.
Oh,
We should
God.
buy
It's
Ted
like-
one of those shirts that changes colors when it gets wet. Remember those shirts?
A mood shirt.
What were those
Is that
shirts
like a
called?
mood? Is that like a mood ring?
Remember those when they got wet, they changed colors?
Oh, yeah. But you know what? I like the idea of a mood ring.
Yeah.
We should all wear mood rings, and that way we'll know when Ted is full of shit, right? Was that a mood?
It goes brown.
Yeah. Go.
Oh, those are mood.
It's a brownout.
Those are mood butt plugs.
Oh man, it's got to have a flange.
Yep.
I told my
It's got
Gotta have
a
the flange.
flange.
so I told my when I was at the golf course today working before we did this show, and my boss was talking, and I said yeah. He goes, he said something. He goes,
Wait a minute, where's this going? We're talking butt plugs, and you're going to tell a work
no,
story.
but I told him. I said I said something about sex toys, and he goes, he said something about a dildo, and I said, I go, don't put a dildo in your butt, and he goes, why? I go, butt plugs have flanges, so they don't get stuck. And he looks at me. I go, just like, I know this. I go, we had a sex toy person on, and they said that was really important when Ted was massaging all the different dildos and asked which one he could put in his butt. And he looks at me and goes, you actually had a sex toy person on? I go, yeah. He goes, and they brought sex toys. I said, yeah. It was our Christmas special.
We're ahead of the curve.
It was toys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ted literally, I go, manhandled every single one and asked if he could put any of them in his butt. And she made him specifically repeat.
I don't remember
'Cause
him
Didn't she
saying
repeat?
that.
She repeated. She made him repeat that a butt plug has a flange, so it can't go all the way in. And Teddy will tell you this. I've heard him say it 50
Not a
times.
butt plug, but a butt toy.
Yeah, butt toy, whatever. I've heard Teddy say it a million times since then, and that was like a year and a half ago. If I mention it, Ted goes, a butt plug has a flange. So,
So he learned something.
Yeah.
He retained.
Am I right?
I missed the purple toy, by the way.
Yeah, but am I right? You
Yeah.
say that. You've said.
In fact, when you were mentioning emergency room cuttings, with the fruits, I was going to say, well, a lot of people do go to the emergency room for stuff up their butt that it goes up there and it doesn't come out.
That's those goddamn limes.
Because it doesn't have a flange.
Because no
Those
flange.
goddamn limes.
If you had a flange, this never would have happened. People.
Holy shit! Oh man.
And that was episode 23, just in case you were wondering.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But Teddy remembers the weirdest things. All right, listen, Pete, it was great to have you on.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah. When we have people on, like when my sister, people who have listened to all the shows and know everything and remember more than I do, remember more than Ted, probably not more than Mark. He's pretty good at remembering stuff. It's kind of fun to do that. Listen, keep listening, keep enjoying. We've got some really wild stuff coming up. And you know what? It's great to be here, and we love doing this shit, and we'll see everybody next week.